You know, man, I just don't feel like it anymore.
What don't you feel like doing?
I just don't feel like doing any of this anymore. I think I'm gonna give my haters what they've always wanted, and I'm just gonna walk away and not do YouTube anymore.
Ooh.
Not gonna write books anymore.
I think you should just give up social media, and then the
But
rest will sort itself out.
doesn't YouTube count as social media though?
I mean,
Or
they
do we only...
want you to think that,
Hmm.
but if you just don't comment on anything, it's Gucci.
Right.
It,
Like
it's
if
it's basically just like watching TV.
maybe, yeah, I guess it would be like that, except like I can like make my own. It's like public access TV. Yeah, yeah. You know, it's funny because comments are like both the driving force of all of this stuff and also the worst part.
Oh yeah, yeah, no. It's the fucking it's the hug and the dagger in the back some fucking times, dude.
Yeah, it really is. I don't mind it, to be honest. Like, you know what's really good actually? Going on BitChute, and it's more like the free for all that YouTube used to be in the 2000 early 2000s, mid 2000s, whatever. You'll get comments on there that, yes, a lot of them suck. Like, you know, they may, you know, trigger warning for some sensitive people, I suppose. But you know, it's like I just read the comment and I just shrug like, okay, like that's cool. Just go ahead and hate. That's fine. So I had this one. He's not a hater, I'm sure. I don't know what they were. In case they're watching, like I found it funny that maybe they really meant it to be like concern trolling. The video I put up of my new temple, they're like, "Oh, you covered it all in cloth. Like, oh, that's a fire hazard. That's a death trap if like a candle falls over." And I'm just sitting there thinking like, well, first of all, I've got like fire extinguishers pretty much in every room in the house, just about, because we use candles, and so it's like, you know, I'm not saying I'm not
I
scared or
mean,
worried, but I'm saying it's like I'm not scared or worried because I got a game plan if something like that happens.
I
And
mean, hey, I appreciate that shit because like some people don't think about it. Like I know you do, but like if I just stumbled across somebody, I'd be like, "Hey, just so you know, in case you haven't thought about
yeah,
it,
but it wasn't a just so
fucking
you know. It
die."
was a that's a death trap. You're stupid. You're gonna burn to death. It's like, all right, whatever. Like it was concern troll, not an actual like kind concern. But anyway, we're just having fun anyway. So welcome everybody. I'm not really quitting. That's just, you know, just
That's the
Gen X
clickbait at the
humor.
front.
Yeah, that's the clickbait Gen X humor right there. You know, honestly, if Jen was watching, she'd immediately go, "Nope, that's correct. That's Gen X humor, exactly." So Eddie's here, Wyatt's here, Timothy Foster's here, Neil the Mystic's here, Doc Stivel is here. Stivel, I just give it the SCTH or whatever. Give that
Steigl.
Doc Stivel. Yepson is here. I've heard that guy's a bit of a purple douche, but
Yeah, that
we
dude's a
like him.
bitch.
Skeleton Power looks like a newbie. What's up, Skeleton Power? If you're a newbie, welcome, welcome. Camilla's random. She's quite random, but I've been known to love her. She's all right. Yeah.
I've
Eddie
got
Romanoff said Black Magic OSHA safety alert. Wee, wee.
I yeah, so you know what? I've got a little bit of a bone to pick you with your most recent video because
What?
I do attest
Oh,
that I have Camilla's best mirror, and I also want to compliment you on all the orbs. Like, there's definitely something going on there. Like, that's your fire safety right there. If you ever need it, just I got an orb. I got a fucking water orb that I can throw
I
with
think
its
that's why my
fire.
candles spark all the time, because like little orbs are flying into them. Skeleton Power says, long time lurker. Thank you, Skeleton Power. Appreciate that. Hopefully in a good way. No, but thank you. So yeah, no, the temple appears to have a lot of orbs. It's a dusty room, and that's what orbs are. But I think we should talk a little bit about orbs tonight. We'll wait till
I
the family
I
fills in, and
I
we'll talk
feel
about
like
orbs a little bit.
okay, so like I'm not gonna get yeah, okay, we'll wait till later.
Yeah, you put that in the notes. Like that'll be tonight's
Whoop. Gonna
that'll be
slip back in.
tonight's sort of topic, because you know, like I've gone off the rails a little bit with my work here on this channel, and not that the non-dual conversations are bad. It's just that you know, I've got to remember what was interesting for people, and I gotta talk about that stuff too, besides just what I want to talk about. But you know, shout out to channels like Travis Magus, and you know, unfortunately I can't shout out to EA Wedding anymore. I wish he was still doing his videos, but you know,
His mask is still here. The channel may not be present, but
yeah, his mask is
he is
still
still call uponable.
Yeah, yeah. Max Avery's here. What's up, Max? Max Avery for state representative. We appreciate you, brother, and feel free to put any links for people who are living in Arkansas if you care to.
Yeah, we're getting politicians in this show now.
We have literal politicians as supporters. Like, that's what's cool, and we support them. He's a cool guy. Sinister Jinx, what's up?
Maybe we shouldn't blow that up. People are going to be on about the satanic panic and shit.
No, you know why that's funny? He actually did get a little bit of hassle from his opponent. I know you don't want to talk politics, so we'll slightly get into that if I'm not careful. But his opponent, doesn't even know about this part. Knows about apparently his book, which is, based on angels for the most part. It's rather neutral as magic goes. It's not like black magic. It's just
like
angels.
as far as this whole camp is concerned, like it is one of the most inoffensive things to like the broader spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, just about. I suppose you get a little bit more so, but yeah, just about. And so there's a lot of criticism being leveled at him just for that book, and it's like, oh, wait till they find out this other half of your friends, and they might be worrying about curses. And I may be doing him a curse favor at some point if he wants it. Not a death curse, but your empire will crumble, enemy of my friend type of curse. We'll see. I'll have to see how I feel. Yeah. So Astarte says she loves my new temple. Thank you, Astarte. I appreciate that. A bit of nothing is here. Hail. Yeah.
Ooh, Wyatt says we should try some mental health videos from the Luciferian context. And is that not kind of just what we do every week? To varying degrees of success? I think it kind of is, because you kind of have to understand that so magic is a dirty word in some ways. I actually like to use the word sorcery for certain things versus magic, and magic for other things. But magic is a general broadside from a giant ship. When we say magic, kaboom! A very large part of that broadside is psychiatric, because the psyche, meaning soul in the old tongue, is what psyche actually was. But psyche, there's a lot of psychiatry involved with magic. It's really like, if you think magic can be done without at least a dabbling in psychiatric stuff, I think you're missing. I think you're missing like more than half of the conversation. I mean, look at fucking Jung. Exactly. Like that's been so fucking. It's kind of a shame there, because that started as, and I know he kind of had the wooey woo side that he kept under wraps to make things more palatable to a general audience, but that's been so fucking co-opted by this community. Where it's such.
Yeah, we did kind of like take his stuff, didn't we?
Us and fucking prog metal bands.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he made his books exorbitantly expensive somehow, even though he's dead. He did that from his ghost chair, and it's really hard to like really get a good, thorough.
I mean, from what I understand, it's
you have to,
because
steal them.
Yeah, it's not that we would know anything about that, but definitely not. I don't even know how to go on the Pirate Bay, fucking FBI.
I wouldn't know anything about VPNs or Pirate Bays or any of that stuff.
Yeah, what's a computer?
Sea of Thieves is my favorite game.
Yes, likewise, and I procured it legitimately, completely in the spirit of the title. We have a super chat from Nina the Mystic with that sweet 666. Says, greetings, everyone. Love the new setup, DH. Love from Canada.
Oh, thank
Appreciate
you, Nina. And
you, Nina.
I hope you're enjoying the small victories you guys are having up there. Not to get political, fleshy duck, but the workers uniting and shifting things a little bit. It's great to see, and I hope it keeps going. And thank you and your country for leading the way. Hopefully that continues, and we see some. I'm feeling better. The tide's shifting. I'm feeling better.
Speaking of Canada. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Canada.
Do you want to talk about some? No. We should finish this topic, but later I want to talk about some dickless dudes.
Some dickless dudes.
Yeah. I'll have to look it up to make sure I got all my facts.
You're talking about the Baron from What We Do in the Shadows, my absolute all-time favorite sitcom that I missed somehow, and I finally got to watching like 2 weeks ago, and I can't stop.
No. Something much stranger. We'll bring that up later. We were talking about fucking that. Oh God, now my mind's on fucking dickless dudes. We were talking about mental health and fucking Tool and Young. But I think his family and, the larger organization around his books made them prohibitively expensive. As like a, from what I understand, and I am, correct me if I'm wrong, please, is they don't just want like general paperbacks and shit out there. Like they want real high quality books that you can pass down through generations of his work, like exclusively. So that's what I've heard from everybody who actually has a copy of like the Red Book and some of his other lesser known works, is that like, yes, they cost, like you basically got to sell your firstborn to get one, but oh my God, the books are fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, and I think Shadow Doc has a set of them. I'll have to ask him. I'm pretty sure he treated himself to them.
Yeah, I remember him saying something about that, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I am no expert on Jung. I've borrowed from things I've been able to find that, like the summations and broad understandings, and I probably got most of it wrong, to be brutally honest. But the common understanding of Jung I used partially to work on Shadownomicon, at least as a sort of inspiration. Like I'm not taking that work and building on it by any stretch. That would be like, I can't even come close. But it was definitely a finger pointing in the right direction for me. And but honestly, like there's things about Jung that, and it's not Jung, Eddie pointed out, it is Jung. There's things about Jung that you have to
fuck you. I will butcher this language and every other one. Well,
it's not your language. It's actually German. So since it's German, you have to kiss its ass now. Or Eddie will visit you in your sleep, and do some sort of a weird Bavarian or whatever, like beer dance in not a sexy way.
You know what? I'm not. I was going to make a dangerous political joke right there, and somebody send me a cookie because I stopped myself, and I deserve something nice for that.
Okay, good. So the little bit I understand of Jung is that a lot of it really, is a reinterpretation of frankly esoteric stuff in a lot of ways. Not entirely, obviously. I'm just saying a lot of it is like a reinterpretation, a re-understanding, a reimagining of certain things. And his archetypes, like I commented somewhere out in the universe, I don't know where, people were talking about tarot and Jung and stuff. I'm like, well, you have to understand, like, Jung is important. Jung found the archetypes. I'm not saying this, but the tarot is a much more complete set of archetypes. Like you take the archetypes from the tarot, you almost don't need the archetypes from Jung. The Jungian archetypes fit easily within the tarot archetypes. If you just take the whatchamacallit, the noble cards, whatever, from the minor arcana. My brain's kind of fried.
Okay.
Sleep, I can't think of my words.
The fucking God, you got me
the
in
king,
that space
queen,
now where I can. The royalty.
The royal cards. Yeah, if you just take the royal cards alone, you're getting there. You got a lot of it anyway. That's not exactly true, but I'm just saying it's like just in there you have a couple of archetypes already that are. So Jung isn't wrong. Jung is absolutely right, and I wouldn't replace him with the tarot by any stretch. I'm not even saying that. Jung said himself there's way more than the number of archetypes that he suggested. So I don't want to get too deep into Jung because it's sort of out of my field. In fact, I'd be happy to be proven wrong on this.
No. I feel like everybody has to go through and butcher Jung at some point, like we all fucking do constantly. It's like we talk about Jung and we bring him up so much. I haven't read the fucking Red Book. I challenge most of you who have quoted Jung and talked about his fucking ideas. Most of you haven't read it either. We're all just fucking idiots talking about it.
We're all just dumb. But I don't know what Astarte's talking about getting upset about I'm not putting down mental health professionals. I don't know what that's about. Maybe somebody else did. But, it's the right word to really use here. Magic is psycho-spiritual. Well, really it's holistic, but the part that people think of as the spooky woo part is psycho-spiritual. And that means that it is, you have to sort of take that modern understanding of the word psychological, and definitely, you know, intermix it with the spiritual stuff that is talked about. And magic is like a spiritual form of psychology. And it's really, really, really important to do in some form. Magic is Western Tantra, or well, at least theurgy is. Theurgy is Western Tantra. And there's so many different ways of approaching it that, you know, that's why we love it, because it's an art form. You can do it so many different ways, you know. But yeah, so I didn't get much sleep tonight, so my ability to talk succinctly is kind of shitty. So I'm gonna let you guys lead me into some shit.
Okay, well, okay, so I should probably, before self-indulging myself, I should probably read out some of the comments.
Good,
first,
fuck 'em.
Jeff524, I'm doing pretty well and glad to hear that you are too. And Wyatt says that he has a small business offer for you guys. Having live streams with all kinds of random topics at different times all over the place would force people to watch hours of content to find the nuggets of gnosis that are hidden in there. I can go through all the live streams, sort them, archive them, and write complete scripts on certain topics for you folks for only $10 each. I'd like credit for my work in the video of being the one who wrote the script, if that isn't a concern.
No, I'm gonna do it like Joe Rogan, and I'm just gonna be like, find my podcasts, and you know, we'll just maybe I'll go back and number them, and then like people can just catalog them that way.
I mean, I like where your head is at. I like the spirit, but yeah, I do also kind of like that of, you know, the other videos exist for people who want more concise little nugget to digest, and these live streams, pretty much anybody who watches a live stream knows what they're signing up for. Like, I don't tune into a live stream when I just want to be in and out. I tune into a live stream when I just have nothing to do, and just like I'm just here. I'm here to hang out with a couple of chuckle fucks, and you know, this is probably just going all over the place, but I'm here for whatever pops through. And thank you, Jay Sauber, for the super chat. Always appreciate it, dude. But don't let me put you down. I appreciate the entrepreneurial spirit.
No, yeah, I'm not being negative at all. But I would say that, you know, if you guys really want to help me out, the best thing you can do, yeah, it's great to get paid, but the best thing you can do right now is spreading the word, saying nice things, put it on your socials, you know, tell people, hey, check this guy. Heck, put it on. I give you, I don't want to say permission, but I give you like light permission to quote me on TikTok and stuff, because I'm never going to use TikTok. Go ahead and go get my name out there. Get my name in your mouth and go French kiss everybody with it, and see if we can spread this herpes of my weirdness around the world. But yeah, no, like if you guys want to help me, like, yeah, it's great when you guys support me with money, but and I still want that. Don't get me wrong. Don't stop. You know, I could kind of use some rent. You know, I ain't rich. But no, what I really want would be, if you really want to help me, it would be that, because, you know, especially in the winter months when, you know, we get so little, especially from YouTube with its shadow banning with the stuff I start talking about, we get so little love from YouTube's algorithms anymore. You know, I went from high to like 250-ish at the pinnacle of my growth rate to, I dipped down to 90 last month. I'm back up to like 130 new subscribers every month. And to me, that's great. Like, that's cool. Like, you know, that's a room full of people each time, every month. But you know what? I feel like I want more. I want more all the time. I want attention. That's what I want.
Well, you know who's both giving you something to contribute to rent and also some attention is Slim Lewis with that glorious 666. And Slim, I appreciate you on behalf of DH, but I appreciate you, but I am filled with such dread to read this comment. Slim Lewis writes, would love to hear you talk/rant about the U.S. economy, the current state of inflation, and the way the Federal Reserve can and will manipulate it.
I'll be nice to you, Fleshy. First of all, go into my Discord, join our Discord, and join my politics channel, and get involved there. I will just superficially say that world economics right now is a big shit show that's based on lies and fiat currencies, and you can't take it much more seriously than that. As a nobody, like everyone here is, your best bet is to, and I'm not giving you financial advice, by the way, I'm talking from a Fantasyland perspective of what I would do if I was writing a story about this stuff. The best bet that I'm taking is to make sure that I am diversifying my meager little fictional dollars into things that are more bulletproof from those things, at least some of it, at least a portion of it. But you know what's interesting?
Invest in teeth. Teeth never go out of style unless you're living in Florida.
Style. No, you're right. But you know what? My great greats were always rich, and they look forward to these times because that's when they made the most money. So the really rich and wise, a downturn like this is when they go, "Oh, good," because they're going to be able to buy everything pennies on the dollar. So the longer you can hold out while this is going on and find that bounce, the bottom, that's when you want to. And I'm talking about the fictional RPG of life, by the way. We're not talking about financial advice. We're not talking about that. When you play this RPG of life, you want to wait, and invest on the lows and get the rebound. So, CM's comment is not wrong. But I would also recommend the digital stuff too, to some degree. We had a little bit of a bounce, and hopefully it'll go back up. Yeah. So I'm not an economic advisor, and I won't talk about that stuff like that here.
Yeah,
but I will say that the system is broken on purpose because it's, as Carlin said, it's a great big club, and you're not in it.
Yeah, like if you're gonna give us any fucking salt about like economic wisdom. And like, I'm sorry if I'm insulting you here or dragging you down with me, but like, give us even less salt than you would give Wall Street bets, which you should not even give like a kosher grain of salt to.
By the time they tell you, like, one of the worst things you can do is when like Alex Jones or somebody says to buy gold now because it's going to get bigger. That's usually because at that moment they know that they're seasonally in the high prices and they want to sell it all off. So when they're not talking about is when you should be dipping your toes into these things. That's not financial advice. That is just, if I was writing a book on these things, just as entertainment value, that's what I would be saying. So, Shim, yeah, if you want anything political, unless I'm doing a solo stream or with a political person, we don't talk too much here. I'm not saying we don't do it, but we try not to, because Fleshy he'll turn bluer than he already looks. And we try to avoid that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I could dip my toe in a little bit like that, but yeah, dude, especially fucking money. I don't want to fucking worry about money. Money is fucking evil. Money is awful, dude.
Yeah.
I want to live my life not worrying about money whatsoever.
Yeah, it's
like,
I don't mind
not to say that I want so much money that I don't need to worry. I just want to be in a place where I'm comfortable enough that I don't have to worry about paycheck to paycheck bullshit.
You want to play games with money. You don't want to worry about money, because I know, like, you enjoy having the cheddar in video games, but I know you're not a materialistic person like that. I know that for you it would be like, you and I would probably be the greatest, richest people on earth, because I know that if I told you my fantasy of being rich, you'd probably want to be there doing it too. Like, my greatest fantasy of being rich would be like, I wouldn't want to go broke doing this, but I would just live a relatively comfortable life. Like, I wouldn't need a Lamborghini. I might have a nice house, but not a big one. It'd probably just be cool. And what I would do with that money is I would go and I would reward random acts of kindness that I saw on the street as a complete, like, people wouldn't know it was me. I'd be watching and I'd have like this big burly muscly guy, like bigger than me. Like, he'd have to be like 7 foot tall, like rippling with muscle, like 300 pounds. And like he'd be sitting there with like a briefcase, like on his, like on a thing. And like, if some guy got up to give his seat to a little old lady, I'd be like, 10 grand right now, give it to him. Dude, chop, chop.
I would go out and I would find a homeless dude, and I would first of all pay for, like, I would, if I had that kind of money laying around, I would hook a homeless guy up with an apartment and like some money for food and shit and a gym membership, and tell him to get fucking yoked, and I got a job opportunity for him if he did. And then I would fucking pay him to reward random acts of kindness, or even like create random acts where he would tie fucking $1,000 around a brick and chuck it through somebody's window with a note that says, "Sorry about your window."
Right? Little shit like that. Yeah, little shit like that would be dope. Like, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that is like a fantasy of mine. Whenever I've talked about winning the lotto, that's high on the list of things I would do. And maybe that just makes me like, I don't know what that makes me. I don't know. People are like, oh, what a good person. I'm like, I don't know. Because I don't know. Because I don't think of it that way. I just would love to see it. I would love to see, like, it would make me feel good, because I know that, like, when I do something, and I get,
you want to play the most dangerous game of kindness with money.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, I'm getting a.
But okay, so I did look it up while we were talking, and oh no, you know what? You were about to bring up Jane Doe's question, which they repeated here. So thank you for the reminder. Jane Doe is asking, do you have alternative names for the LBRP and middle pillar? I don't want to use Hebrew or the angels.
Okay. Fair question. Number one, understanding what the LBRP is really is important. Middle pillar and all that stuff too. I don't use either of them. They're just not my bag. And for a similar reason to you is I don't, angel names never really did it for me. Even when I liked Jesus as like when I was a Christian and stuff, it never really appealed to me. I preferred more nebulous things that didn't have so much religious baggage, if you will. Lucifer being one of the exceptions, of course, for me. But no, the key to it is to understand that each of the archangels referenced represents one of the fixed zodiac positions. So they each represent an element, is really what it is. They're the personification of an element. And because, Golden Dawn / Thelema and all that stuff is rooted in the, I don't want to say orthodox, but it's rooted in the mysticism of certain religions for its symbolism, you can easily unpack everything and use it that way. Now, of course, middle pillar has to do, I believe, with, I've never used it. I don't really care for all this stuff. Honestly, just try to find out what the symbols really mean behind it, and then use what you want. There are around the world, there's lots of different examples of how to use them. I can't name it off the top of my head, but there are definitely people who have alternatives. You can use demon names, but recognize it as, so it would be Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Leo. So those are that's what they're talking about. And each one of those angels is one of those zodiacal elements. And you can go from that. You could, think of it like you're calling the four quarters, in another way to put it. Now, what the LBRP really is you're banishing your mortal delusions. You're reasserting in that space that you are divine and you have authority over this ritual space, because you are the avatar of the divine, and the divine must do its will is always carried out. So all of these things are ways to sort of integrate, and transcend the mortal delusions. You have you visualize yourself getting extremely large over the earth. You visualize this energy before you, this energy behind you, and so on. And it's really meant to be like you are a focal point, or you are a lens through which all of this divinity is charging. You're supposed to be seeing it that way. Recognize that, if there is an aversion to using those things, and I say this as someone who admits they have an aversion to, if you have a religious oriented aversion to it, that's shadow work you need to do, like, to be blunt.
Yeah. And, I don't want to cut you off too much if you're still in the middle of a thought, but
I think I'm good. I think that's a good cap.
I would say too, like, I personally have not ever done an LBRP or any of that. Like, I know that's kind of the gateway drug to the rest of it, and I just haven't done it. I didn't want to get in with working with goetic spirits just because of the Christianity fucking angle with it. Mm-hmm. Like, I am so adverse to all of that I didn't even want to touch anything that even vaguely had that taint on it. And you know what? I found good shit from it. And I think there is something about dealing with that shadow. And I'm not saying it has to be your main thing or you should love it or anything, but I would also challenge, like, what DH says is valid in that you can deconstruct and recontextualize everything within it, and I encourage you to. But also, very sincerely, try just sincerely practicing it as, laid out. It might help you with some of those shadows. You might find that it's not as bad as you think. Like, I do think that if you do have such a big personal hang up, then that's all the more reason to try it sincerely and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not try it first, but definitely keep the door open. And anyone who, most people, I'm not to say most, I don't want to make like generalizations here too much, but speaking from experience with people up and down the spectrum of this stuff, the majority of people who come to the kind of practices that we find in this left-hand world are people who have not rejected, but have literally ejected from the Christian culture to the point where they're rebelling against it, and often for very, very good reason. And so they don't want to go anywhere near anything that smacks of anything to do with New, Old, or anywhere in between Testament.
My Sky Daddy doesn't understand me. I like the rock and roll, dude.
Yeah, it's really kind of, and I get it because I've been there before, or at least I've known people who do. And the higher truth is to learn to see through all of that. And one of the things that's helping me is not becoming a Gnostic. I never will become any kind of religion or anything, but not a specific kind of Gnostic, but the Gnostic tradition or the Gnostic beliefs. If you look them up, man, so much. If you watch my last, that free video I did, the free class that I put out this week, where I give a little bit of an overview on Gnosticism, and I got to have Eddie on sometime as a special guest, just me and him or something, to just foot the shit about Gnosticism and all of the different offshoots of that and Christianity and whatnot. Look at Gnosticism. You may find a way to reconcile your problem, because the Orthodox Christianity that we know of would literally be considered the demiurge by the ancient Gnostics. It would have been seen as the demiurge corrupting what was the better version of all of these things. And the Gnostic tradition was literally burned out of history. Some would even say the fire at the Library of Alexandria was all about burning out at least some of that. To be brutally honest, even the origin of Lucifer himself as a being in the Christian culture can probably be traced as a bad guy, can be traced to the Orthodox Christians trying to further cement the demonization and heresy of the Gnostics so that people avoided it. And that is because the Gnostics saw Lucifer as the good guy, and they saw Jesus as an incarnation of Lucifer. And it wasn't an inversion of Christianity by any stretch. It was, hey, the God of the Old Testament was this dick that was like, killing everybody and doing all this authoritarian madness and requiring worship like a overbearing dick. And then this other guy comes along and is talking about how we're all divine and we're all God and we're all this and we're saved already. We just have to believe. Wow, this is weird. And of course,
Lucifer was like Elvis Presley fucking gyrating his hips in the youth of God. That fucking Jesus was listening to the Lucifer music and he fucking was groovy with the shit, man.
So I mean, I have a firm belief that if Jesus existed, it's one of three things, you have, or maybe more, but one of three things. It's either it was a real person or persons with a bunch of story, or it was a concoction made up by the Romans to sort of continue ruling over the Jews, or it was a fabrication built out of the early Christian church to control the world. And probably, in all honesty, probably all three of those are accurate to some degree or more. And what we find is if we go around the world, we go to like ancient India and the texts that are preserved from that period, we see evidence that Jesus was there and was taught by them and taught them. And he wasn't talking about, Yahweh being the God that ruled over everything. No, it was, to put it one way, it would be very, what we would consider Vedic or Buddhist or non-dualist. And we have to understand that Gnosticism was sort of strongly influenced by Platonism, Neoplatonism, and Hermetics, actually. Like all of those things were sort of, so Gnosticism was kind of like monism or non-dualism for dummies. It's a pantheistic or panentheistic belief in which all is God. And that means you are God right now. There's no separation between you and God. The only separation is an illusion. I've been preaching that to you guys for years before I even discovered what Gnosticism is. So if you've got issues with Christianity, what you probably have an issue with is not Christianity. You don't hate that the good parts. What you hate is the authoritarian nonsense that was used to control the masses for generations, thousands of years.
Oh yeah, no, dude. There's some shit with the Bible that I think most people can fucking get behind. And that's like the ultimate fucking like, how dare you say that in this community? How dare you support the Bible? Let me read you from James 5:1. Your wealth has rotted. Moths have eaten your clothes. Your gold and silver are corroded. The corrosion will testify against you and eat your flesh like fire. Fuck yeah, dude. I could get behind that.
That sounds like some metal ass fucking lyrics right there.
Yeah. Dude, the Bible's metal as fuck in certain parts.
Mm-hmm. So I don't want to get into, that's like a whole thing I'd like to have Eddie here for, because he's more of, Eddie's more the academic. I'm the seat of the pants, like lunatic who interprets shit. You know, like, so.
You're the kamikaze of the occult.
I suppose. Yeah. I mean, you know, I like that. That's a good way to put it. So, no, I'm not the academic type, so I get things wrong, and I need to be sometimes straightened out by people who got the book learning that I don't got. But, you know, usually though the book learning people go, yeah, that interpretation sounds good actually. So I'm not usually wrong. I just sometimes got to get my facts straight before I can make a good interpretation. So, but the reason is because I see things from a lens that sort of ignored the bullshit and went right to the source of non-dual or monist thought. And I found that to be true through what the Gnostics would call gnosis, or the Indians would call samadhi. They're basically the same word, like quite literally the same word. They mean the exact same basic thing. Maybe there's a slight difference in how they're expressed in the different cultures, but they mean essentially the same thing. So if you've experienced samadhi, you've experienced gnosis, and vice versa. And most people today misuse the word gnosis. Anyway, that went on a big ass tangent. I didn't mean to go on.
Well,
LBRP. Make it work for you. Like,
yeah,
just figure out what the elements are meant to be in representation. Try to find someone. I recommend Damien Eccles as a really good source for untangling a lot of this stuff. Not that I agree with all of his fundamentals, but I love the guy. I think he's one of my favorite YouTubers on the subject of magic. Same thing with Travis Magus. Same thing with Foolish Fish. There's a number of really great channels out there for untangling things. Really good channels for that. So check out Damien Eccles. He's got videos about the LBRP and also explaining the Bible. And some of what he says is really, really important. And I think, check out his books and stuff. He's got, like,
I know CJ is here. He's a big fan of Damien too.
Is he?
Like,
cool.
Yeah. Fucking.
Hey, CJ, what's up, brother?
Yeah. What's up, dude?
I'm going to roll through the chat here because I heard there's like trolls and stuff. I don't know.
So we have Asarte. I've got 2 super chats to catch up on. We've got Asarte Azeroth with the by this point almost mandatory tactical fisting hippo. So we appreciate you, Asarte, and I'm happy that your neighbors could get some entertainment from this stream. Nice. And we also have one from L, the motherfucking alchemist, with that inverted 666, who says, just wanted to swing in and say thank you both for this. Makes my Fridays great. Much love, brothers. And much love to you too, dude. Looking forward to the next time we get to have you on and hanging out with you.
All right, let's see here.
So I'm going to give you a minute. If you find anything that you want to speak on, go for it. But otherwise, I'm biting at the bit. And I swear this is going to be relevant to us. I want to talk about these dickless dudes.
These dickless. Well, talk about your dickless dudes.
Okay. Okay. I know you're going to have something to go off with this. Just hear me out. So there is a movement called the Nullos. They're basically people who want to be null and have complete non-attachment to things. And one of the ways in which they do this is castrate themselves, so that they don't have to have, the attachment to wanting to do a little bit of the old,
right. So kind of like that dude from Circle of Iron who gets in the bucket of oil.
Yes, exactly where I was going with this. for those of you who aren't in our Discord, and we do movie nights, and that was one of the first ones we watched, and that was one of the funniest fucking scenes. Is there's a guy bathing in a bath of oil because he doesn't want his dangly bits around anymore because he feels like he's too attached to them, and it's just it's fucking great. And then King Paimon shows up, and it's but so these guys fucking there was a group of guys, so they do this shit. They hire fucking amateur doctors and like vets and shit to like castrate them in like certain communities, cults. I don't know what the term I should use for that is.
Mm-hmm.
And because they want to reach the state of null. So that's all like, hey, your business, whatever the fuck you want to do. But a group of these dudes fucking had a paid live stream where there was like 7 of these dudes going with the old snip, trying to achieve Kendall. Perfect Kendall is their goal. And they were doing a live stream for it where people had to pay like $40 to get in and shit to watch these dudes get the old fucking wax and smack. And so I was wrong. I thought it was in Canada, but apparently it was in London. So apparently they got in some legal trouble for that, and it's kind of weird to me because I don't know, everybody was willing, like this was everybody's choice, and so it's kind of weird. But it's funny because it's that whole circle of iron thing. It's the attachment to complete non-attachment.
Yep. So non-attachment can be an attachment too. And this is why, like, I often laugh when people like say, certain things, as a criticism, like, Thorne, you're not very humble. Thorne, you're this. Thorne, you're that. Now, it's true. There are times when people are charging headlong towards something and you have to warn them by saying like, oh, you're being a little this or a little that. Yes. I mean, it definitely happens. Impetuous is a better word. But yes, it does happen. Even to me, like there's times where I refuse to see my own mistakes because I'm in a zone and I don't want to, as creatives go, like creatives tend to, when they create, they don't like to see their flaws, because if you're anything like me, you're very critical of your own self more than people realize. So you tend
dude.
You tend to, when you get it right, you want to be left alone. You know what I mean?
There's a fucking Venn diagram where one circle is like fucking being on top of the world, like in love with yourself, complete fucking egotism. And the other circle is fucking crushing self-analysis. And right there where the circles overlap is where you get fucking art.
Yeah, that's true. And I've often told people, like, people who really hate themselves, they get so mad when they get insulted and blah, 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 and they feel really inferior. I go, the problem is it's not that you don't like yourself, it's that you like yourself so much that it bothers you when other people don't see it. And I don't know what the cure for that is, because I sort of do a little bit of everything. Like, I don't really, like, I don't see it as an important thing to waste my time worrying about being a good person or not, because it's one of those things where it's like, I would rather be sincere and then let things land where they're supposed to land. And if I get hated for it, so what? Because at least I'm being honest, rather than pretending to be a nice person and not being a nice, and not actually being one, but pretending to be one, acting like one, doing all the facial, superficial shit and acting like I'm a great person, but deep down inside I'm really a dick. And so instead, I just don't care what I am that much. I know that I don't like feeling guilt about how I treat people, so I generally don't act in a way that I'd feel guilty about. And and then I also realize that doesn't make me a good person, because if I'm doing it simply because I don't want to feel bad, that doesn't make me a good person. That just makes it so that I don't want to feel bad. So how's that a good person? So I don't know, man. It's one of those things where instead of trying to be a good person, which is stupid, just try to be fucking sincere in all things that you do. And when you can do that and still navigate life successfully, I think that at that point you can say that you've had a fulfilling life, because it's really, in order to have a fulfilling life requires honesty, nothing more. The more honest you are, the more successful and fulfilled your life's going to be. If at least that's me. Maybe that's just what my world is.
But, I mean, is that not when you when you cut out all the pros and everything else about it, is that not the core foundation of shadow working, is
Mm-hmm.
being brutally, brutally fucking honest?
Yeah, to be as honest as you possibly can, and then to learn to live with what you're honest about. You know, it's if I'm not saying you can't or shouldn't change any of those things, it is that you have to recognize that you are whatever horrible thing you find. You are that. And when I say that, I don't mean that like in the egoistic way. I mean, for every murderer and for every victim, there is the same divine behind that is watching through the eyes of both sides. And in you, the person you think you are, in the character that you think you are horrible things, according to society's views. Each one of us has some ism, some bigotry, some whatever,
Some somophobia or like fucking whatever.
Anything you can shake a stick at, some Edo, whatever. Everybody's got something in there that they, so that society will find fault in. Not a single person. This goes back to the Bible. May he among you who has no sins cast the first stone. This is, again, I get chills when I think of like how you can relate this to the non-dual understanding. The non-dualist understands this.
Spiritual nerd, I love you.
I love you too. The non-dualist understands that passage in the Bible perhaps better than Christians do. It is an understanding that within the divine are all sins, because there are no sins. No one is sinless, and we should refrain from casting stones based on sin just for that reason. You notice, I find it funny because Christians will interpret that to be Jesus Christ was sinless. He could have threw a stone. You notice he didn't throw a stone as if he also had a sin on that wall somewhere. Kind of interesting. I know that they don't like to say he had a sin, but yeah, you know why he didn't have a sin? Here's the real reason.
Jesus didn't want to get on Twitter because he knew he'd be called out in 2,000 years.
Blonde guy in the Middle East. I find it very sus.
Oh, that Jesus man, he's a sussy baka, I tell you what.
No, you know why he was sinless? It wasn't because he didn't ever do anything that the world would consider a sin. It was because the non-dualist understands there are no taboos because everything is divine. It means that you recognize that you must act compassionately, and sometimes compassion requires what others will see as violence or something else. Compassion requires, most of the time, though, leaving people the fuck alone. Most people out there today who have their little wars and things that they go on trying to control the world and fix it and do the greater good, they're doing way more harm than if they just left it the fuck alone and just let it do its thing. I don't mean you don't run into a burning building to save somebody who's on fire. I mean, instead of telling other people how to live better, leave them alone.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all been in that situation where we had a friend that was just, you want the fucking best for them and you want to spare them from suffering. And so you try to help them out. You try to spare them from the hurt. And in the end, when you just accept that you don't have the energy to keep putting into this thing because they keep indulging in these patterns, when you can't do it anymore, it is so much worse for them that if they just bit that bullet earlier, it's like by trying to do the right thing and everything, you can cause more harm. So what is the fucking, like, where do I get my fucking Mass Effect points? Is that a renegade or is that a paragon action? I don't really fucking know, but I know that there was definitely some hurt that was caused by my seemingly, paragon actions happening there.
Yeah. I mean, when you sin, it's when you act in a way that is not sincere. That to me is the sin. And by sincere, I don't mean doing what you want in an egoistic sense. I mean when you are not living according to your divine will. That is and it's not a sin like you go to hell sin. That's the only thing I consider like a sin, is when you are spiritually lying to yourself. When you are in denial. And so when you lie about your actions and say, I'm doing this because, when you put your actions on the shoulders of the world instead of your own divine will, that to me is sinful. Like if you say, oh, I didn't want to have to kill him, but he came at me and blah, 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 blah. Okay, no, you have to recognize that whether you want to say it's because he came at you or not, you killed him because you made in the moment, not a choice. You acted according to your will. You did what had to be done. Trying to put it on their shoulders, that was more of a sin than anything. Because it wasn't their fault that you killed them. It was that this was the chain of events, and you, not even in choice. Choice isn't free will. That's a mistake people make all the time. Choice is not free will. Choice is the illusion of free will. Actual free will, you don't have a choice in the matter. You simply do. When your free will is free, you just do as you will. There is no, should I go left or right? You just go. So, it's not reactionary. It's completely just in the zone. You're just in that alpha state. You're just in that zone. So when you act, when you do an act, saying that it was caused by something, as if you're the victim of circumstance. While that's great in a court of law, and you'll catch me using that defense if I have to, if I ever get caught for something, in the truth, in my deep soul, I know.
Oh, fuck. Dude, imagine
that
being tried in fucking occultist spiritual court. Just,
it would suck.
Well, you were the odd, you were the everything, so therefore you were the gun.
Right? Yeah.
No.
Oh, that sounded like a very slight reference to what's his name, who just got in trouble.
It wasn't at all. That was just off the top of my dome. That wasn't
because he's basically saying the gun did it. So I guess from a non-dual perspective, he is the gun.
You're talking about it. No, fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, he murdered those people. I'm sorry, he did.
I don't
allegedly,
know. Suddenly, I'm not sure if we're talking about the same person, but
I can't think of his name.
It doesn't fucking matter. Like whoever you want us to be talking about, that plug it in. Okay, we are. So yeah. Fuck that guy. I'm gonna bring up something that CJ motherfucking Anger said because I really like it. I put the sin in sincerity. And yeah, that's what you should do. You should commit the ultimate sin by acting with sincerity in all actions.
That's right.
Even if it is perceived as a sin. If it is sincere, then...
The problem is most people confuse their egoistic identity with their divine truth. They confuse what their ego says is a desire and a want and a need for the higher self's intentions. This is why people get hung up. And I just wrote a short summary chapter, if you will, very short little summary, 3 or 4 pages, maybe 5 pages, for part of my book, explaining what some of the ideas of what sorcery is and the misunderstandings. Even I go through, because I go through periods where I get it wrong, because ego is a thing, guys, and it's not a bad thing, but it does get in the way of the higher truths when we don't instead of looking through it like a filter, we think that the color is real. That's what ego is. Ego is like a coloring of your experience. And if you think that everything really is that color, that's when you're deluding yourself. But when you just see it through that lens, it's fine. So long as you recognize that it's just the lens. It's not, the world isn't orange or purple or green. It's just the color of your ego over it. So sorcery and magic are ways not to cause change in the world, but to align your egoistic expression, your avatar, with the divine will. And through this trial and error process of doing rituals and failing to get what you want, you slowly learn to be more prescient about what you do magic for. And you will suddenly notice over time, hey, I'm having more successes. I do a ritual and it happens. You think that you're causing change because you're an idiot. The reality is your ego's finally getting into the groove of where it's supposed to go and what it's supposed to see in life. And it's finally aligning with the flow of the divine. That is really the purpose of it. It more than anything else. Instead of seeing magic as a way to get what you want, which is fun, but that's your ego screaming, it's so I can get what I want so I can have power. I am God. No, you are not God. God is all of it, and you're just the tip of its finger. But you are God, but you are not God, right? So this is where the language breaks down. Like, how do you tell somebody that? Like, because people will say, so you're saying there's a separateness? No, I'm not saying there's a separateness. I'm saying there's an illusion of separateness between you and God. And the more that you say, I am God, like this, the more you got it wrong. That's it. So yeah, magic and ritual, I can tell a lot about somebody when I ask them about their magical experiences. And I say, did your magic cause change? and they say yes. Or if when I question or challenge it, if they get bent out of shape and say, I know I caused it because of this. It sounds like faith to me, guys. Sounds a little bit like faith to me. Can you prove this? Can you go on, can you take the James Randi challenge and prove that you can bend time and space and make your will manifest? Notice I used the word manifest, by the way. I didn't say cause. I didn't say have it happen. I said manifest. Interesting choice of words. I can't prove to you that I can manifest my will. I can only prove it to myself. That's one thing, number one. But I can't cause the world to change. This is a bridge too far for a lot of people who watch me. And I can tell a lot about someone based on which one they are hanging their, what hill they're willing to die on with regard to this. If you are the type of person who says, I know that my magic can cause the world to change, I believe this, and blah, 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 and you know, watch, I'm going to curse this person, they're going to die, or whatever the heck else. I just sort of smile and nod. I'm 40 some odd years old. I've encountered dozens and dozens of you per week. All of you live in your, no, I'm just kidding. I'm going to get a little rude. All of you live in your mom's basement. That's not true, but you know what I'm getting at. For great and powerful Oz sorcerers, most of them are nothing but mongrels living in a basement. You know, they don't have that power. If they did, it would be known to the world, right? So this is not what it's really about. What it's really about is integrating your ego and your divine self, and magical actions will still appear miraculous. That's the part where people get a little screwed up, is that magic will seem to be miraculous when it manifests a lot of the time. Nikki, I'm just teasing. You can live in your basement, sweetheart. You know what I mean? I'm not mocking people who live in their own basement. That's cool. I don't care about that.
Basement's the fucking coolest room in the house outside of, you know, maybe the fucking dungeon, the ritual chamber. Like, okay, yeah. there are some better places, but the dungeon, I mean, the fucking dungeon. The fucking, I
mean, there's the sex dungeons. Anyway, what's up, Nikki? Good to see you, sweetheart. Good to see you.
Yeah, now I'm just fucking fascinated by all the different rooms that I want in my dream house. Teach me how to manifest that with magic. You got your own fucking
I got my ritual temple,
now.
so I could, at this point, the rest of the house could burn down, just leave that, and I'd be okay. So I'll have a place to sleep. But yeah, so.
Oh, but no, that's going to be the first room that burns down, DH.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah,
all those fucking orbs, dude.
Yeah, we got to get to them orbs and stuff. But yeah, so people can get confused about what this is about. And I think that's one of the things that this last year I've integrated a little bit is I flip-flop. You'll catch me. I'll say I don't believe it causes stuff, but then I'll still act like it does. And I'll get caught out on my own egoistic nonsense. And what ends up happening time and time again is I will succeed and fail. And I'll have a high degree of success on doing rituals that work. Then I realize the ritual didn't work. I just did the ritual for the right thing. And a lot of people don't realize that the real act of magic happened the moment you committed to doing the ritual. That's when the magic happened. Because that was when you, in a matter of prescience, aligned yourself with the inevitable and saw it as a valid potential and did it. And lo and behold, the synchronistic whoop whoop happened and you seem to get what you want. At least something like it. And then when you don't, that's why it's really so bothersome. Now, some people will say, no, it's a system, it's like a tool, it's science. If I just perfect my ritual.
I read the book, I got the fucking goat's blood, I got the virgin, I got the magic silver dagger, and it fucking worked, dude. Like, you tell me that's not fucking, hey, James Randi don't got shit on me. I read a fucking old book that I got off of Barnes & Noble, dude. It's fucking legit. So
what I'm saying is that most magicians who think that magic causes change are suffering confirmation bias. They're not actually experiencing transcendental awakening. They're actually falling for an ego trap. This is why the lion's share of magical information in the public space that isn't kept behind locked doors in lodges and stuff is the I can cause change magic that you see on TikTok. That's why, because it's an ego trap designed to keep the riffraff out from the deeper truths, because for whatever reason, they don't want you to know. I'm convinced of this. I don't know why they have, well, actually I do know why. I think the reason is that if you all realized that you were God, they couldn't rule you the way that they do. So
I don't know, man. I think the true power is cursing the moon. I think TikTok has it right on some. Yeah.
Don't forget the Fae. Don't forget the Fae.
You know what? Down with the Fae. We're going to curse them all. We're going to bring the moon out of the motherfucking sky. Yeah, we don't want part of Earth fucking out there. We want to bring it back. We want to drag the moon back into this fucking atmosphere. Reunite. We want to do our moon. That serves us. We need it here and
we want to do Majora's Mask, the fucking real world version.
Yeah, fucking Majora's Mask, the TikTok witch. And you know what? Fucking, I love joking about that because this is so fucking absurd. But like, I cherish the TikTok witch, like curse the moon, curse the Fae bullshit, because all of us have fucking been through that shit, I think. And if you tell me that you haven't, I don't fucking believe you. We have all been through that fucking stage, and we are just seeing fucking, kids who are going through their awkward fucking stage of all that unfortunately posted online social media. So dude, fucking hats off to them, and I appreciate the fucking chuckles. I hope one day you'll be chuckling with me.
I hope to. Well, Amobius just said DH is the rebel force against all witch talkery. I gotta tell you, dude, here's the thing. Like, I might be a badass, but the tide in the ocean that represents, I'd be like, fuck you. Like, I couldn't face that wave. Like, if all the TikTok witches that are ass wipes decided to target me, I'd probably have to turn off comments and likes and dislikes for a little while, because it would probably be a little bit crazy.
Man, I gave you, I'm not going to get into my whole fucking bullshit here, but I gave you a little taste of some of that recently happened in my sphere. That shit's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, I'd like to dabble my toe in it just because I hear people are having good success on it, like I forget, but they'll get like, thousands of subs in days, and it's like, well, that's cool and everything, but I can't be that quiet.
Dude, I think technically I might be Gen Z. I don't fucking know. It doesn't fucking matter. But
no, you're almost Gen Z, but you're millennial.
I'm a Z-lennial or fucking whatever. I don't fucking care, but I'm a fucking Z-lennial, and I'm too fucking boomer for TikTok, dude. You would have no fucking chance. They would eat you fucking alive like piranhas that smell fucking blood.
And not because they're badass. It would just be like I said, it would be like that scene out of World War Z when all the zombies are climbing up the fucking side of the building.
You're playing in their fucking territory. They will beat you to death with the experience of their ignorance, man.
Yeah, that's true. Necroniki says TikTok couldn't handle this. No, they couldn't. They couldn't handle a freaking and it's like, let them have it. Like, they're sitting there using Chinese spyware. Good. Let them. That shows how enlightened they are. Not that fucking Facebook and YouTube aren't at this point, but at least they try to hide it on Facebook and YouTube.
Ooh, hey, but because of some things with the European Union and also Apple, fuck Apple, by the way, but I kind of begrudgingly accept some of the shit that they're doing to fuck over Facebook. Mm-hmm. They're both my fucking enemy, but whatever. In this case, go look at fucking Metas or whatever the fuck they are now. Go look at their stock prices recently. Yeah. Ooh.
Can we have that happen to all these big ones? I know I profit off them, but honestly, I'd do a lot better if they weren't the only game in town. Yeah, I would like to see alt tech, whether you agree with all alt tech or not. I wish it was more diverse. That's what I wish.
I want to see all of them go down, but like I just want Google to sell off YouTube first. I'm just too I have too much attachment, man. I'm not willing to do the Ken doll.
Alphabet needs to sell off YouTube. I want YouTube to go back to being third party like it was or whatever.
I want to see the day do you know what the first video ever uploaded to YouTube was from the creators?
I don't know. It wasn't that Google don't be evil thing, because it should be like be evil.
No, dude, the first video ever uploaded by the people who made it was a dick joke.
Was it?
Yeah, they were just looking at elephants in the zoo, and they're like, one thing about elephants is it got really, really big.
Wow.
Trunks. Wow. That was the first fucking video. I want to go back to that.
I think I remember hearing that though. I think you're right. Mobius says tidal wave of woke water. Is that almost like slut water and all that other stuff? Like a tidal wave of woke water. Dude, let's invent woke water, like as a gag freaking, like, you know, water. Like we'll go around, we'll get some like, you know, really wokey types and we'll have them like make woke water.
Yeah, but what do you do when it succeeds? Like what do you do if it succeeds and you have to start like doing the hard shadow working of like, this shit just bought me a new house. Do I stop it or do I let it run its course? Like, ooh, fuck, man.
I would just have to
Daddy
call.
really likes the bison he's eating recently, but
if I wanted advice for that, I'd call Hassan Parker and ask what it's like to be. Anyway, I'm not gonna. We're getting too political now. We're getting too political.
that one.
It's good. Some people will get it, but yeah, no. If I wanted to know what it's like to be a
feet over here.
If I want to know what it'd be like to be a gigantic hypocrite, I'd ask Hassan Parker. But yeah, you know, I'm gonna get a drink. And let's get back to some actual some shit, some Tom shittery.
Doc Steigville says, I don't think it's legal to sell bottled piss. You know what? I would not think so, but I take a hard disagreement with you because I've drank Budweiser. And obviously they're within the law. So, you know, I don't know what to say there. You might want to check a couple textbooks, consult a lawyer.
I'm going to say on the order of piss beers, I prefer me some Coors. Oh yeah, sweetie, if you don't mind. Thank you. I prefer me some Coors Light back in the day. That was my drink of choice because it tasted like nothing. It was like seltzer water and you could drink it. Whichever. Thank you, honey.
Yeah, I would just like rather let me, oh man. I have had the moments where I'm a little bit of a fucking beer snob, like don't get me wrong, but nothing ruined the fucking beer pong night as bad as the guy who brought fucking Coors Light.
That would have been me. No, I like to bring my green beers, like, you know, like the Becks and the Heinekens and all that crap.
Yeah, like that's fine. Like I'm not dissing fucking cheap beers. Like I will fucking pound a PBR like any good self-respecting fucking hipster punk Washingtonian. Fucking dude, that's my bread and butter right there. Yeah. Like fuck yeah, but there's a certain level where it's just this is straight up fucking moose piss.
But yeah, Bud and Miller, like those are the ones. If you're like, would you like a Bud or a Miller? I'd be like, I'd like to just leave. Can I just leave?
I'd like to find better friends.
Fucking see how this brought up Coors Banquet. That's from Cobra Kai that I learned about that one. Fucking that's Johnny. That's Johnny from Cobra Kai.
No, you know Coors what? Banquet. I take it back. It wasn't Coors Light. It was Coors Banquet that the dude brought, thinking like it was the fancy cheap beer. I'm like, this is fucking awful. This costs more than a PBR. That would have been perfect.
My beer drinking days when I drank beer was either Coors Light or I would just grab fistfuls of 40s out of the cabinet from the fucking 7-Eleven or whatever. Because I lived in that neighborhood, so I was like, let me get some of that malt liquor. Oldie, yeah, he just said it. Like I said, Oldie 800 was the ultimate piss beer. You got it, baby. Give me some Oldie, baby. Woo! Just drinking to get fucked up. That's all it's for.
RPS, speaking my language, says love Rainier Ale. Yeah, I still prefer a good PBR, but a Rainier is perfectly acceptable.
If I can not get a sponsorship deal, I'm going to say sparkling ice and lemon rum. Lime and rum. The two citruses go together so freaking good that, you know what the problem is though? I have to really double check and see if this has like carbs in it. It does have a few. So, you know, I think that might be why I gained a pound this month. So. Look at Mobius quoted me, fistfuls of 40s. Those were the days.
I fucking... Oh my god, you just brought me back to my fucking vegan days of checking all the fucking ingredients list on everything.
I hate it. It sucks.
Just, but like I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at like how absurd that is to the common person of checking if your fucking vodka has carbs in it.
I don't know. You know, I lost some weight for the Christmas season, and then Christmas ended. I'm like, oh, my pants are starting to feel like, not like I need new pants, like fatter pants, but I feel like I'm just going to undo this buckle a little bit, you know? And it was like, shit, I don't want to gain back I don't want to get back in the 260s. I want to stay in the low 240s or preferably lower than 230. But like, if I can't get any lower than 230, I'll just live with it. But,
Yeah.
you know, that's fine. I know a lot of people who are like 230. That sounds like pretty good for someone your size. You don't look 230. I'm like, all right, good. I'll take it because I got muscles. But no, I want to be like 220 something. Like that's my goals. Like in the low 220s. But I think then I'd have like the bouncy titties and everything, and see the veins. You know.
I mean, I have some of those problems that I weigh. I weigh a weight that if I complain about how much weight I'm gaining, people will want to kill me.
Well, I think you have to wear scuba diving weights in your shoes, right? Just so you don't blow away on a windy day.
Oh,
Is
well,
that...
no. It's not for that. It's because I watched too much Dragon Ball Z as a kid.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm constantly training.
Gotcha.
L the Alchemist will know what's up.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, fuck yeah.
All right, so I didn't have to get up for my drink, but I will have to get piss at some point because I put a little bit of booze in it this time.
Yeah, fucking do it.
What are the questions do we want to get to? Do we want to get to other questions, or do we want to get to the one topic we come up with there a minute ago? By the way, I love seeing we hit 50 for a minute there. Give us a like if you haven't already, and share this sucker out while we're still live. If you know people who'd like to watch it, we're going to talk about orbs and other manifestation medium. That's what we're going to talk about. So, you know what we should do, Fleshy? We should take timestamps of some of our videos and start making it so that we can timestamp them for people who watch them later. Be like, this topic happened here, this topic happened there. And maybe in the future,
Yeah.
I will just rip out parts of it and make them separate videos. But
Yeah, I've actually thought about doing that a couple times, but then I remember that it's work.
it is work. It's like 5 minutes of work, but it's when you don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, it's not so much that it's a lot of work. It's more that I just have to further fracture my attention between all the bouncing around I fucking do on good nights. So, like, you know, like, we really should, and I should get good about that and fucking, like,
well, when I start paying you again, that's what I'll ask you to do. But that means we have to get way more successful. So we got to hit that minimum quota for us to actually get paid, because right now YouTube's getting paid more than we are, it seems like. Share it all over, Tim, anywhere the people would like it. I'm going on a sub drive for the next couple months. I want to get to that 6,000 mark sooner than they're telling me I will, and I want to creep it up there because I'm really sick of their algorithmic throttling. I don't like it. And here's the thing, I know I've been a little antisocial lately. I know on Facebook I'm like, fuck you, I don't want to, like, I don't take people's like friend requests. I'm going to say 150 of them just sitting there, which I don't accept. And I do that constantly. Like, I notice like other people have like 4,000 or 5,000 almost subs on their Facebook pages. And I'm like, you know, if I accepted all of them, I'd be well around 4,000 too. But I don't, because I feel like a lot of the time, I'll accept, like, if you want to follow me, I've got a public page and I've got a group. Anybody can follow those. You want to be friends with me on Facebook, I consider that a privilege by comparison, because my personal Facebook profile page, not my public page, my Facebook personal page, I am actually very inclined to block people, and like, I don't tolerate any rudeness. Disagreement's fine. I don't tolerate the slightest bit of rudeness. Like I am quick to be like, get the fuck out of here the minute. It's like, you wouldn't say that to me in my face. Don't say it to me in my text here, because this is like my little space on the internet where I just, not a safe space, but it's a space where I am God. Get the fuck out. You don't talk shit to me here, because I wouldn't do that to you. Public space is different. Talk shit everywhere. Like if it's somebody else's channel, somebody else's page, like whatever. But there, no.
I think that's one of the interesting aspects of, you know, the digital medium that we are living in, is some people innately understand it, of like, you know, there's people who you may follow and be really engaged with, where you'll be on their, you know, their Facebook page, like their public Facebook page or whatever, but that is still separate. Like their private, like this is for family and everything Facebook page, that is a completely different sacred space that even like, as somebody who's really engaged in everything, I wouldn't go there, because that's a completely different barrier of like trust and everything, of this is for a different purpose. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of interesting navigating that whole thing.
Like I long for the day when I'm rich enough where I can just pay somebody to be my social media guy, and like I'll just tell, like I'll type posts and stuff, and they can just give me the the good, what do they call that? Like a liaison. Like, give me a liaison to like just feed me like what I need to know. Like, was this post popular? Yeah, sure, good, okay, good. Was it unpopular? Like, be honest, but I don't need to hear like the nitty gritty shit.
I get what you're saying and I agree with you, but I also feel like that's a fucking, it's like on a macro scale, that's a dangerous fucking precedent, because that's exactly how we got fucking Wendy's Twitter. Like, Wendy's Twitter was fucking great at first when it was like unique and everything, and then everybody started doing it and you realized, oh, this is just how they're selling you new products. Like, oh god, I don't like this anymore. This is late stage capitalism. Everybody just fucking run. Everybody fucking run from Twitter. Why are we still here? We don't need this. This is fucking just collecting all of our data. This is penetrating our fucking minds. Why are we engaging in this?
The internet is like that picture of the evolution thing where you have like the monkey to the person and then you get the one person and turning back going, go back, we fucked up. Like, that's the internet over the last 20 years. Like, we were really off to a good start, like about halfway up till like right around 2008, 9, 10, 12, dude, blah, 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 blah.
We had Neon Cat, we had Double Rainbow Across the Sky. Yeah. It was also pure. It was also beautiful.
Right. It was just like everybody was fair game. No one had a fucking high horse.
Dude,
the normies weren't using it. That's what it was. It was still nerds and cool people.
Back when you could still fucking live stream into a Chinese Red Room, and now they're trying to shut them all down, bro.
Wow. But yeah, basically.
Sorry, I had to make it dark.
But yeah, I mean, the internet isn't cool anymore because everybody uses it. Like, I said this a month ago on Facebook. I'm like, you know what the problem with the internet is? It's not there's anything wrong with the internet. It's that everybody else uses it now. It used to be only cool people and nerds used it, because only the people who like either could figure out how to do it would use it. So there was like an intelligence, like, litmus test to use it, or had to have the money for it, and they were in a minority anyway. So,
dude, under the bleachers, or you're fucking, everybody here was a fucking outcast. Everybody here was a weirdo. Yeah. I'm convinced nobody was in the fucking jocks in high school. Let's just get out of the fucking way. So when I say under the bleachers, you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I do know what you're talking about.
Like, under the bleachers wouldn't be fucking cool anymore if fucking everybody was hanging out there.
That's true. That's exactly it. I think you just got it. I think you just summed up the internet and what's wrong with it. It's the under the bleachers or behind the gym where you smoke. It's exactly that.
I don't want my fucking aunt giving me old-timey racism on Facebook. This is for my elite hacker friends, Mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. So I think we all have to start using the dark web, guys. Sorry about this. We're going to have to go to dark web internet.
We're going to have to write all our messages out on fucking VAC unsecured CSGO lobbies and write the messages with bullet holes on the walls.
Or we'll just get Eddie to set up a BBS like he promised he would do, and Doc Stivel just said BBSs were the bomb, and I agree. So what's up, Behemoth X? He says, hi friends. Hey big guy. He called me big guy. Hey big guy with the new temple. Love it, bro. Yeah, I love you too, Behemoth. You got the better one, dude. Yours is like all perfect. You know what? The only thing I don't like about it is that it is only 10 by 10. So like,
it's cozy.
Well, no, that's fine for me. But when I shoot video, like the camera angles, like I either have to zoom, like I have to like use a weird fisheye to get it all, or like it's uncomfortable to do. And so I'm going to have to learn my camera angle skills a little bit better to figure out how to get that to work for me. Because I shot a video in there today of the consecration, and I just couldn't get it to work the way I wanted, and I ended up messing up the consecration more or less because I was too focused on the electronics. So I'm gonna have to do it all over again. I mean, you don't have to, but I'll feel better doing it all over again without the fucking need to videotape it. So, and just to hell with it, you won't get to see my technique. I'll just talk about it.
Yeah, no, fucking go with the fisheye. Like, embrace the fucking like early skate videos. Like, you could be the Tony Hawk of occultism.
Like, I'll do a fucking ollie or whatever. I'll like flip upside down, like while I'm doing the ritual.
Yeah, dude, just fucking hacky sack one of those skulls up into the air, just like, and that's how you fucking captured Orb, ladies and gentlemen.
I know Behemoth X knows. He says, "Yep, I know, bro." Yeah, I know he knows, because I mean, he's really good at what he does. So he knows. He definitely knows the suffering.
Dude, he knows. He knows on a level where we are all just fucking children.
Yeah,
just like. Daddy, I got a fucking splinter at school. Meanwhile, fucking woodworker over here with a fucking like kickback from a table saw, just fucking 8-foot board just through his abdomen. Just, oh, Tell me more, son.
Yeah, I think Behemoth, you'd like my. It's small and cozy, like you said. It's very intimate. I think you'd like it if I set it up the way I have it and I put the lighting right and I had you sit on that oh come on, the word for the Japanese sitting cushion is a. I'm tired, dude. My English, like my words, just. Yeah, call it fine. We'll call it that. There's a word for it that I know it. I say it all the time. I can't think. You know me. When I get tired, like I can't.
I know, and I know I heard you call it out in that video, but I'll fucking remember the shitaru stool.
we'll just say the butt cushion. I think my wife's typing furiously. She probably knows what it is. She's about to tell us. Oh fuck! I can't think of it all of a sudden. Fuck! It's gonna kill me until I can get like it.
Okay, well, to buy you time, I brought up dark humor earlier. Can I tell you one of my favorite jokes that I just learned?
No, I must know the word. What is my brain is locked and it's
Hold on, I'm just gonna fucking look this shit up. Hold on. Japanese ass cushion.
No, it's a meditation cushion.
Oh god, I'm so.
It's a meditation cushion. Oh my god, there's a word for it. And I use it all the time. You know I like Japanesey words. Come on.
Okay, guys, don't look up Japanese ass cushion. It's probably going to get you exactly what you expect, but not what I was looking for.
Oh, my goodness. Let me see. Why am I looking up a word that I know? It's just so annoying because I know as soon as
this is the fucking epitome of live streams.
Zafu! A Zafu! Idiot! Okay, a Zafu. Okay, I don't know why I said. So anyway, Behemoth, if you sat on the meditation cushion called a Zafu in there, I think you'd be down for the count for hours. I think you'd have a good time in there.
Goose fraba.
Goose, fuck your mama. Okay. Anyway, that was totally unscripted. I couldn't have done that on purpose if you paid me, by the way. That's how you know I'm a legit one.
Okay, so I need to get this out, and some people are probably gonna hate me. Can I tell you a dark joke?
Just remember we're on YouTube, and already you're straying dangerously.
Yeah. No, this is nothing that the algorithm could catch.
Okay.
What's the difference between Betty White and Paul Walker?
What?
Paul Walker managed to hit 100 before he went.
Wow. Ew. No.
Oh, I love that disappointment in your voice.
No.
And also, a shout out to Max Avery. I really wish you didn't send me that shit, but you did. So I have to bear the burden of that knowledge now on the topic of the fucking dickless dudes. He sent me a 4chan thread of corn dogs. So yeah, that I don't know if you caught my face earlier, but that was in reading that. So thank you for that, dude.
Corn dogs. What is that? The leavings, the leftover.
No, literally corn dogs, but it went other places too about attachment to non-attachment, and trying to get the breading off the corn dog.
Yeah. Okay. Just look up one guy, one screwdriver, and you'll know where my brain is.
Oh, Jesus, fuck. Okay, I'm gonna fucking save us. Let's get on to a different.
Well, there's a guy who used a USB plug. I think what was it? Wang just did that one. Like he talked about that. Like a guy went into the emergency room because he had a USB cord all the way up in there, and they had to like open up his butt to get it out. It's pretty cool.
Oh God, just fuck. Oh, why? Jesus Christ, that's
I
not.
guess he wanted to get higher Ethernet speed in his ass or something. I don't know.
I'm not a genius, but even I know that's not how you install Linux.
Whap, 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 nerd. Okay. Yes, go ahead. Lead us into the next promised land of topic.
So yes, we've got a couple questions I could bring up, but also I think one of the things that we wanted to broach early on was the orbs and talking about your new chamber. So do you have any preference there?
So let's do the orb thing because that's a little bit more useful to people. And since all the cool people are still here and all the you know, the fair weathers have left, let us now give out the important information. So let's talk about orbs and manifestation medium. We can do this pretty quickly, actually. So number one, what are orbs? So how many of you guys know what an orb is? Okay, an orb is something that you see in a lot of like the ghost hunting shows. They'll have people will be, you know, standing there in the dark, and they'll have the IR camera on, usually is when it shows up the most, and they'll like, spooky spoo, are you here? Give us a sign. And then you'll have like the funky little like metal screeching noise as an orb of energy floats across the screen, apparently. Well, okay. Here's the deal. That's a mote of dust. Like, frankly, that's like, let's just be blunt. Number one, that little orb that just floated across the screen is a mote of dust highlighted by the light, and it's so close to the camera lens that you can basically see through it because of the way camera lenses work. It distorts it, blurs it, and it basically it's sort of like when you can look through your finger because it's so close to your eye. It's kind of like that, but it's so out of focus that it's just a blob instead of any distinction. So you get this orb on the camera and people go, oh my God, it's an orb. That's a spirit. We'll say, well, what makes you think that? Well, you can't see it when you're there. Only the camera can see it. It's obviously a spirit. So this is like back in the 90s, this was really common. I don't know if you know what this is, Fleshy, because you might be too young, but they had rods on these video.
Oh yeah.
You know what those are. And they're obviously bugs like caught between frames so that they look like a line with like some weird jiggly jaggly. It's obviously the bug's wings as it's flying to anybody with a brain. But they called them rods, and they say like, oh, we don't know what these mysterious rods are, but they come out in the summer, especially when people look at the sky with cameras. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, how are you really that stupid? These UFOs have been seen by people all around the world. Are we under invasion right now? You know, like the ridiculous crap. So orbs are the same thing, but that doesn't mean that there can't be significance to them. Orbs are a potential manifestation medium. They're not a manifestation in and of themselves, but they are a potential manifestation medium. So what's a manifestation medium? A manifestation medium is anything. Usually it's best if it's something that's suspended or is a fluid. So something suspended in a fluid or a fluid like gas, like air. Something that can allow for the element of apparent chaos and chance to happen. So one could argue that a tarot deck is a kind of manifestation medium because you shuffle them and then you manifest some sort of divinatory experience. Smoke from incense is a manifestation medium. It's particulate floating in the air in a predictable but also randomized pattern that is influenced by air currents and so on. Same thing with candle flames. Same thing with dust motes in your environment. So it is possible to utilize these things for, when I say spirit communication, I'm going to put quotes and asterisks around the word, okay? Because I believe personally there's a misunderstanding here. I'm opinionated about this. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. My understanding of manifestation, especially through these mediums, is not that a spirit manipulates the room and causes the air to flow a certain way and causes these things to happen. Rather, it is the psyche in your head that is inspired to notice the patterns that appear. Now, you know why I believe this? You can have 5 people look at the smoke signal from a ritual, if you want to call it that, a photograph of the smoke from a ritual. And you might only get one person that notices the face in the smoke that appears. Does that mean that the face is objectively there, or they're just the one that picked up on it? Well, there is no face in the smoke, guys, because it's smoke. You can't have a face in smoke. It's not a face, it's smoke. So it's something that looks like a face. So that required a certain inspired, imaginative moment of intuitive awareness. Like, oh, that looks like a face to me. Well, why didn't it look like a face to the other 4 people until you pointed it out, right? So the manifestation wasn't the smoke. The manifestation was the, hey, stupid, look at that. That was the manifestation. That was the spirit communication. It wasn't the smoke. It was the, look at this. That was the spirit communication. Okay.
And To cut you off a little bit, I know one thing that I've preached on this channel before over and over again, and I will say it again and again, is that what you find is determined by what you are looking for. In that, you know, these things manifest for you, not necessarily because they weren't there to begin with, but because you've aligned your perspective. You sought to find the thing, and so the thing fucking jumps out at you. Like, that fucking billboard may have always been there. You drive by it every day on your route to work, but because you're thinking about it suddenly, it pops out to you. You're programmed to look for it. And
confirmation bias, more or less.
Yeah, that's not a generous way to put it, but you're not wrong. Where, yeah, a lot of these things I feel like are you getting stuck in a headspace, and this doesn't make it any less meaningful, but these things are still out there in the world. And you are changing your perspective. You're ripping yourself out of your mundane day to day and forcing yourself into a new perspective to take on the world. And that is the real magic at work there.
Bingo.
Everything else is just dribbly drop. It was there before. You're just in a new space where you can see it with new eyes.
Exactly. You've transcended the two seemingly opposite perspectives. The skeptic who says there's nothing magical going on here at all. It's just random fucking dust motes. They don't mean anything. And oh my God, it's spirits and they're orbs and they're really ghostly images. If you can transcend both of those two extremes and bring them together and have them overlay, you realize that, wait a minute, they're both right and they're both wrong, like equally so. Yes, it was a spirit there. There was a spirit going on here, and it was a manifestation, but it wasn't spooky woo where the incense smoke was caused to rise that way, but it was synchronistic. It was a coincidental thing of significance, and you had to notice it. The real magical part was in the noticing it, not in the happening, because I can show you 1,000 times how that was completely plausible. Even in a room where you think that there's no air currents, there's air currents. Okay. I was like, you know, gonna toot my own horn like I always do. I have a high IQ and I study science. I'm a pretty big deal. I know what I'm talking about. All right. Even in this bottle where there's seemingly no chance for any air disturbance. No, there's air currents floating around there. You just don't realize it because this is
fucking. This room is closed off. I'm gonna blow fucking vape smoke behind me, and you'll see how much they move around and shit.
Yeah. So there's plenty of ways for the air currents to shift and mingle and do things. So, in a way, it's actually more interesting when smoke doesn't move. Like if it just, you know, that would be more impressive.
Yeah, like if that happens, I would shit myself because clearly there's something there with me that's just fucking holding that.
So again, I don't mean to diminish or minimize the spooky woo experiences. What I'm trying to say is that, yeah, maybe it's possible that some spooky woo shit happened, but it's way more likely that your psyche was told to notice that by the inspiration of higher voices, higher self, higher divine, whatever you want to call it. So as you're experiencing your ritual, it is really useful to have a bunch of manifestation mediums going so that there is something for you to notice weird stuff happening in, or one good one. I like smoke because smoke can do all kinds of funky shit. I like smoke with a crystal ball because smoke with a crystal ball, that crystal ball is a kaleidoscope and it just like distorts the smoke even more. It gives me like weird stuff that I can see. But now we get to the next layer. And that is, you've heard me talk about the Troxler effect, probably. If you've heard me talk about scrying mirrors, the Troxler effect is when you're in a dimly lit room and you're staring at your face in a mirror, you will see your face move, even though you know it's not. You'll see your lips moving, your eyes blinking and looking around. You might even start to hear voices because it's a hallucinatory effect that is studied and known. Scientists know about this and have known about it for a long time, that we tend to hallucinate things because when we see a face, our brain says, what's this weird other person trying to tell me? Because it doesn't recognize it readily like it does in a normal lighting situation. So it starts to animate it in a way that seems rational with the given play of the light. And especially if you got flickering candles so that those shadows are moving around a little bit, forget it. You're going to see all kinds of crazy shit. Level one is a hallucination.
You want to fucking see ghost kids?
Exactly. That's what Bloody Mary is, by the way. When you're supposed to go into a black room with a mirror, like a bathroom, and light a candle and say Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, that's really what you're doing, is the Troxler effect. Anyway, that is level 1. In other words, so imagine this is like a graduated thing to a spiritual experience. So
put it in iceberg context. Those are big on YouTube. It'll help the algorithm.
Okay, so that's the tip of the iceberg, is the Troxler effect. That is the absolute, like, we can all agree that that's happening. However, let the Troxler effect happen for a little while. Sit with it, enjoy it, play with it, see what you can make it do. Now let your imagination run away with itself completely and get lost in that hallucination for a little while. Uh-oh. Suddenly your hallucinations are taking on a dimension that is more meaningful. If you're good at it. If you're good at this, your hallucinations will suddenly start becoming synchronistically meaningful. You will, for whatever mechanism, I mean, I could offer a few explanations, but through whatever mechanism, your hallucinations begin to become inspired, and the daydream becomes more meaningful potentially if you're good at this. And that becomes a medium for spiritual community. You'll start hallucinating fully. You might even just like, I don't even need the mirror. I'm just going to lay down now and just daydream a conversation with whatever spirit you just found in the mirror. One of the most powerful things you can do with a mirror is that. And it's one of the reasons why I talk about it like that all the time. Because like I don't do it often, because to me that's like, it's like I might as well drop some acid, because that's how powerful it is. Like, I've never done acid, I might as well. Like, that's to me, that's how powerful it is when it works. So yeah, check it out, try it.
This may be a weird tangent, but I'm gonna relate it back around, hopefully. There's been research done with people that have Alzheimer's, and they've noticed that it's very, very different depending on the culture that somebody grows up in. So, for example, you and I live in America, and the connotation of people with Alzheimer's as they start to go is normally rather violent and everything. They have these aggressive outbursts and shit, and really, like, they think demons are after them, this kind of fucking bullshit. It's not fucking pretty, which is one of the reasons it's so fucking stigmatized here and brutal. Mm-hmm. However, in other cultures where, you know, hearing these things and all of that is less stigmatized, they're able to actually shape it into, you know, people being very pleasant, being able to indulge in these experiences and having it shape a very positive outcome for them, where they're just happy all the time. It's like, yes, they are still losing their grasp on what all of the rest of us agree is the collective idea of what here and now is, but they're not doing so bad. They're really happy with it. And I think that's one thing that's important in going into these kind of things, is that, you know, if you shape your perspective to be about bad shit is going to happen and all of this, then what you find is going to be determined by what you're looking for. But if you really sincerely just, you know, let that spirit be there, just put the fucking internal critic aside for a little bit and just give in and indulge with it and have a good time, there can be some really fucking meaningful experiences that crop up out of that. Just fucking plant good seeds and you'll get a good harvest.
Hell yeah. Yeah. You know, I would even argue that the difference between a spiritual or magical person and someone who's mundane, not that I see that like, ooh, they're muggles or something, like there's like a limit, like a bloodline or something, but someone who is in that mindset and someone who is not, is a magical, mystical, sorceress, you know, spiritual person can stare at paint on a wall and have a spiritual experience from doing so. They can stare at something completely monotonous and boring, something that shouldn't be magical, and gaze at it long enough and something will appear for them. Something will happen. They will see something in, maybe science would call it a form of schizophrenia. I don't really care. The point is, I'm not even mean that you're going to see like a face in it. I mean, so you'll go somewhere if you sit there long enough. Like people go like, oh, I couldn't stand like, you know, study hall or being in school suspension. It was so boring. Like, are you kidding me? Just sitting there doing nothing's awesome. I get to just be alone in my head and just I just, you know, like I'll just sit there and stare at the fucking paint on the wall and just find faces in it. Like, what's wrong with you people? This is cool. So I'm talking to somebody with ADHD. Like, you know.
You know, what you said just like made me have a thought about being able to stare at paint and just trip out. Do you think Bob Ross was into this fucking shit?
Oh, fuck yeah. Well, I mean, the guy practically hit an entire freaking shoe full of doob before he came.
I mean, yeah, but like, do you think he had fucking experiences where he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna have a nice time with titanium white tonight. I'm just gonna paint it all over this beautiful little canvas. I'm gonna trip out. I don't fuck with Prussian blue anymore ever since the last time, though, baby.
Yes, probably. I mean, knowing his conversations and stuff he would say about himself, I think he painted for therapy and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, he went through some shit. I know that some of it's like a little exaggerated, but yeah, no, he's a pretty fascinating character. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I think he did hallucinate from the oils. I'm gonna say that's what happened. Yeah, the oils.
The oils didn't cause him to hallucinate. They were.
Well, it depends on how good the oil is, dude. I mean, it depends. Like, is it made by Ricky?
This is what the fucking cancel culture. They're trying to strip the oil out of Bob Ross's paints. They don't want us to truly see spirits like we used to back in the 80s.
Sounds like more like the conservatives would do, dude. That kind of oil would be what the conservatives are after, not the woke people. But yeah, no, I don't know, dude. It's. Bob Ross is pretty cool. So yeah, so what about orbs? So orbs are a manifestation medium because it's dust motes in the air. And if your camera is set up to pick up those dust motes, you may, when watching the replay of the video, you'll ask a question and like you'll see a little mote of dust goes, you know, and do weird shit. So it can actually be a very valid form of a medium device for that purpose. Are there synchronistic effects that happen and do you notice them? And so it can be a very useful tool. That's why I don't know if you could tell in my voice that I was a little joking about when I started talking about the orbs, because most people have a bad understanding of it. So I kind of I kind of trolled it a little bit, but there is some validity to the orb conversation. And I think what I just said is at least what I think is the valid way of looking at it. And if you go back and watch my video, and I hope you do, if you haven't already, watch my new temple video. It came out today. Check that out and see what I'm talking about. Like you can see, but as I point out, I just sat down. And it's an older room, you know, my son's old room, and he was a slob, just like the rest of the people in this house are, to be brutally honest. And it's a 10 by 10 room, so his room was filthy. And so even though we cleaned it floor to ceiling, literally my wife washed the walls with bleach and everything, even though we cleaned it all out really good, I sat down on a Zafu. I almost did it again. Sat down on a Zafu, and when I did, a bunch of dust comes up, and I'm sitting there catching it on the light of the camera. So of course there's orbs. And CM Heldekainen just he said the secret phrase, ponder the orbs, yeah! So ponder those orbs as you're watching your replays. In fact, I do recommend, so long as you don't get distracted by it like I did tonight while trying to do a ritual for the camera the first time in the new room, if you don't get distracted by it, I recommend, of course, check with your spirits, as some would say. Make sure that they're cool with it, like be respectful, whatever. I don't think they care, but whatever. Record your rituals, especially if that helps you get into them. Some people, when they set up a camera to do it, they take a little bit of extra time to really ham it up and do it good. And they can't wait to see the replay. And the cool thing is, cool shit happens in rituals, and you're like, oh, I wish I had that recorded. Well, now you do. You can go back and watch the tape and see if it was as cool as you thought it was. Or maybe you had your eyes closed and you wondered if when you asked the question, when you ask a question, like, I wonder if something happened that I couldn't see at that moment, So record your rituals. I don't see any reason in the modern era not to at least consider it. I think you should at least consider doing it. I don't care if you're doing rituals on a literal nightstand set up on the corner of your room with like a He-Man statue for an idol. I don't really care. Yeah, I don't know why you have an EA Koetting idol, but I'm just going to accept it.
EA is fucking dope, man. I even got his yoga pants.
I see that. I really do. Fucking weird ass fucking skinny Jew motherfuckers. We love you though. Yeah, no judgment, just judging a little. But yeah, so like totally record your video, record your rituals, and just look for those moments that you would have missed. And I think you'll have even more fun with it. I think that,
Oh yeah.
you know, I mean, I like when I watch my ritual video. One of the reasons I do the YouTube videos of them is so I can go back and watch them and be like, oh wow, that really happened, didn't it? That was so cool.
You know, actually, I never thought of that, but that makes perfect sense because you hear that in all artistic pursuits. Is, you know, I'll speak as a musician, like when you were practicing, when you're just, you know, fucking around and trying new things out, everywhere. If you're looking for tips on how to get better at music, fucking everywhere will tell you record yourself practicing, record yourself fucking around, because there's got to be good nuggets that may not even sound good at the time. But when you listen back, it's like, oh, I was actually onto something. I can expand upon that. And beyond that, it helps you, you know, realize where you're bad, where you need some work and everything. But writing too, keeping a daily journal or just jotting down little ideas like, oh, that didn't seem like much, but that's actually really good. There's something there. I don't know why I never thought that couldn't be applied to this too. That's a really fucking good idea.
We got Infernal Obelisk is watching. What's up, brother? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little bit. I didn't notice you for some reason, but I just noticed you now. But I think you've been here for a little while. Welcome, brother. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope the UK is treating you good. Welcome back, my friend. We should get you back on at some point. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know. I think I kind of ran dry on that conversation for now, but I really highly recommend those two things: videotaping things and setting up as many manifestation mediums as you possibly can that are reasonable for your ritual. I mean, obviously, like you not all rituals call for the same level of stuff, you know.
Yeah, you don't need fucking 8 camera angles in 4K. Like
right,
just fucking set up your phone on the bed.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of freaking misters and all that. You don't need all that. But, you know, in some ways it's better to just have one. So I'm of two minds. Sometimes it's good to have a bunch of different ways, and sometimes it's better to just have one, because then you can really focus your attention on it. So leave it up to your imagination, but I recommend that. You know, when you do a ritual and all you've got is like, you know, even just a candle, that's better than nothing. Mm-hmm. But if you can get some incense going, if you can get something else that you can use, I mean, there's other, this is why doing rituals outside are very powerful in a way, because not just because you're closer to nature and all that, but because nature is the greatest manifestation medium there is. Just the air currents in the trees alone are one of the most telling things. Like if I say something and then suddenly a wind kicks up and all the trees are, I go, yep, somebody heard me. And I really just go with that, you know?
Oh yeah, dude. And it's different. It's not your comfort place or anything. Like if I'm fucking sitting here and there's a manifestation of like a loud sound or something, it's, oh, my neighbor's just fucking around with cod again or fucking something like that. If you're out in nature and you hear a loud sound, even if you can rationalize it away, it's like, oh, that was just a branch breaking off the tree or something. That's still, I sincerely think most people will have an easier time jumping past that logical side and seeing that there is a manifestation happening there. There is synchronicity. Even though I can completely mundanely explain that away, that was still important.
Yep. I agree. And that's why, you know, I mean, that's what it's all about, you know, and you notice there what you just said was a key. It wasn't that something happened. It was that you felt it was important. That's the magic right there. It wasn't the thing that happened that was important. It was that you noticed it and thought it was important. That's what's important. That's the element of synchronicity. That's why bringing up Jung earlier was a good idea, whether we meant to do it or not. We didn't know we were going to talk about this, but Jung would have probably said that the fact that you noticed it was important, not that it happened. And you know, it's sort of like when you say fleshy, this is why I quote it all the time and borrow it from you all the time. I'm sure you borrowed it from somewhere else. The idea of what you just said tells me more about you than what it says about the other person. You know, it's in a way, it's the same kind of thing. The fact that you noticed it tells me more about you than tells me about the situation that it happened in. The fact that so the other night I posted a picture of my ritual chamber and a picture of it. I didn't notice this on it, but in one of the pictures, there is very clearly like a face, like a yawn, like a yawning face, and CM Helnikainen found it and circled it, and I didn't notice it. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. It's interesting you noticed it and I didn't. And I'm sitting here taking the pictures and I didn't even notice it. It's plain as day. It's obvious as fuck. Didn't even occur to me to even see it.
Did he post that somewhere? I'm kind of curious now.
Yeah, that's in the Mystical Images channel. Yeah, I think it was him I'm pretty sure it was him who circled it. Maybe it was somebody else. I don't know.
I'm gonna check it. Oh, it was Hexa.
It was Hexa. I'm sorry, fucking Hexa, dude. Ah, man. The Smoke Master himself. If you're watching this later, forgive me for confusing you with CM. Why did I confuse you with CM?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
bad like that. I'm
looks,
like that grandma that gets all her grandkids confused. Forgive me if I get you
yeah.
confused.
It's because like a grandma, he loves you all so equally that the names just get jumbled up. There isn't any order. They are all just lovely children. And a very apt comparison with the fucking mummy face in the sand. I fucking appreciate that.
Now, to be fair, that is an electronic system cycling through a pattern. So I have a feeling if I were to watch that long enough, that face would appear over and over and over again. But maybe not, because it was actually cast onto a wrinkly tapestry. That a big portion of what made that happen would have been the little peaks and valleys in that tapestry at the time. So maybe that was just a moment in time that will never happen again, which makes it synchronistic and interesting. So what that makes me wonder is, was that picture for me, or was that for Heka or Hexa? Was that for me, or was that for them to notice? It makes me think it was for them to notice. If they picked it out, that means that they saw the face they needed to see, and it was something for them. And yeah, let's not forget that,
Yeah, this is something that I think, especially early people, when you're still, and I don't mean to say any of this backhanded, when you're still in the trappings of, as you say, a slot machine or you know what you say, when you're still stuck in those trappings, it's disheartening to hear that you don't cause any of this shit. And it really takes the wind out of your sails, I think. At least it did for me. But at the same time, it reveals to you the warm currents all around you that you can glide on of none of this shit fucking matters, except for that it absolutely does.
Right.
If you need it to, if you want it to.
And the language here is confusing, because when an average person comes to this channel, like a beginner comes to this channel, and they're searching for something, they're searching for a tool. Human beings are a tool-using species. Okay, we evolved to take. You don't look at a stick and be like, wood, huh? No, you go, wood. What can I poke that in and get food or sex or power out of? Like, that is what your instinctive intention is. So that applies to literally everything that human beings encounter. When a human being encounters something, you actually have to override your evolutionary impulse. Most people do it just fine because we've evolved in our own lives, but your instinctive behavior is, can I eat it? Can I fuck it? Can I fight with it? It's really, can I make a shelter out of it? Like, does it serve a purpose, a tool? So magic.
Are you describing Magic or a Conan Exiles game?
Both, quite literally both. So magic is, to put it another way, is the reason why people have a problem with magic is people come across magic and they look for it. How can this be a tool? How can I use this to get one of those primary things? The food, the fuck, the shelter, the fighting, right? How can I satisfy those primitive things?
How do I become millionaire with magic? How do I get my ex back with magic? How do I become God?
And if you look at all the oldest incarnations of all gods, they're all fertility gods, war gods, protection gods, shelter gods. It's all those basic things that they fulfilled the needs of, because that is what the higher spiritual people in those cultures sold the masses to keep the religion going so that they could profit off of it, obviously. So they sold them the idea that the gods will provide these things for them, so long, of course, as you make the sacrifices and keep the priest class in rolling in money, rolling in power. The thing is, though, magic is nothing to do with the acquisition of those worldly things. I'm not saying you can't use it in that capacity. What I'm saying is that it's not about that. And it's a harder sell for the average person. The average person coming to magic wants a tool. They're looking for a cheat code for the universe so they can get something they want because they're sick of life. Something's bothering them. So by practicing magic, an interesting thing will happen if you're dedicated. That's why you shouldn't be a dabbler. If you're dedicated, along the way somewhere, all of the lessons of these elemental experiences and tantric and magical practices will gradually, sort of like Chinese water torture, just beat a hole in your head slowly, and will break through that monkey brain that thinks it's all about getting a thing but it's really about transcending the need for those things, realizing that those things, like you have an issue there, that this is a materialistic, egoistic problem. Then you will realize that the real purpose of magic has nothing to do with causing change. The real purpose of magic is to align your egoistic self, your illusion of self, with the divine, because that's what you really are. And then you begin to realize that the ebb and flow of reality is all you're doing. It's all your manifestation. Literally everything that happens is happening because you need to see it that way. There's no other way to put it. Everything. I don't care if you had your, I shouldn't say this because people get triggered and it is YouTube. If you got your, if you, the worst day of your life, we'll say, if the worst day of your life happened, you can feel like a victim. And some people get mad at you when you say, like, I got news for you as a non-dualist. I don't think that you're a victim. I think that you did that to yourself.
Like fucking Newton. Newton, we remember as such a great guy, but Newton had a day where he was eating fucking bad clams from the sea or something. And he fucking, you know what, Wyatt, I'm going to steal this from you. He projectile shat his pants off his fucking body. And instead of going like, I am such a victim, the clams are so cruel. I don't know why I'm giving him this voice. The clams are so cruel and make me shitteth my pantaloons straight off my body. Oh, they're so expensive. How shall I ever get another pair? Instead of being the fucking victim, he turned around like, physics. The physics ripped my pants from me, and I shall conquer them and define all of their boundaries.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed that. But yeah, sort of like that. And what ends up happening is if we look at all of the actual, I'm not talking about like the little folk low magic spells you can do with jars and stuff. Those are part of it too. That is absolutely part of it too. I'm not saying it's not. But when we look at the higher magic, the point of it is to begin to recognize that which you think is external is really part of who you are. Every god is a reflection of yourself, and yourself is a reflection of every god. And it's all the same divinity manifesting in different faces all over. And this practice of magic, this is why if you go doing magic because you intend to cause changes, you'll get some cool experiences at first, because of course you will. But you'll also reach a point where it's like, why doesn't this work the way I thought it did? I guess I have to make the spell better. Maybe, well, this worked before. Why did it work before? Was it because the moon was in the right position? And so you'll go searching for how to, here's the fucking funny thing, okay? All of you magic as a science technology types, you'll go out there trying to figure out what you did wrong in magic, even though it worked fine before. But suddenly you did it exactly the same way, but it didn't work. Well, what was different? So you'll start looking for what you did wrong. What you don't realize is subconsciously, the real truth is you're not looking for what you did wrong. You're looking to align yourself with something that is intangible. You're looking to align your consciousness. You're looking to align your ego with something it has no control over. And that little moment, you'll think along the way, aha, I figured it out. It's because I did it on a Monday, and Monday is the sign of is the moon day, and that's really for matters of the heart and the internal. I wanted money. I should have done it on a Thursday because that's Thor's day. That's Jupiter's day. I get it. That's when I should have done it. And you'll be like, haha, I figured it out. And you'll do it on a Thursday and it'll work. So then you'll do it another month later on a Thursday, but it won't work. Why was, fuck, what'd I do wrong this time? Did I use the wrong incense? Did I wave my hands wrong? Did I draw the sigil wrong? And so you'll go looking for that. And each one of these little things, each little refinement, you're aligning yourself more and more with what? That's the thing you have to ask yourself. What are they actually aligning themselves with? They think they're aligning their ritual correctly. They think they're figuring out the technology. What they're aligning is their intuition. They're aligning their intuition because along the way, at some point, their intuition will be right. And they'll be like, aha, I got it right. It's sort of like a dog. You train a dog by giving it rewards, and I don't believe in the punishment side that much, although I wouldn't say that you should never yell at your dog. I would probably say you shouldn't yell at your dog at all. Like it's like, I don't want to say you should, because I don't think you should.
It's like you shouldn't yell or beat your dog, but like at the same time, if your dog is ripping your throat out,
right.
There's some, yeah. I'm not going to say never. I'm just going to say, there's an appropriate time.
Right. And so magic is sort of like your higher self treating you like a dog and rewarding you when you get it right. And so when you get it right, you think to yourself, oh, I did the ritual right. That's why I got my manifestation. No, you buffoon. You were actually intending for the right thing that was definitely already going to happen. So in other words, real magic is an act of prescience. It's not an act of causing change. You're realizing that this is going to happen, although you won't realize it egoistically. You'll realize it spiritually. You'll realize it like you will go with a flow. The dualist will say, oh, you're following God's will. Like that's, so a Christian dualist, which is 99% of the people in the Western world, I shouldn't say, not, you know, a large portion of spiritual people are Christian dualists.
Yeah.
They think of God as an external separate thing that they must obey and line themselves up with. The non-dualist says, wait a minute, no, my ego and God are the same, like it's a mask for the same thing. And the mask sometimes acts like it's got a mind of its own. It has no choice. The mask will do what the divine does, okay? But the mask will think it's separate. So the goal is to see that you pull the mask off, go, oh, wait a minute, that's a mask, but it's also, I get it. And unify those two experiences so that there's no distinction. That's what is meant. That is what in chaos magic, that's what gnosis is for. That's the whole point of the gnosis of chaos magic. You enter the Gnostic state, the state of, ooh, that is when the mask is fully, like the self and the other, the dualism is completely eradicated. You are suddenly the divine in that moment. And with any luck, your intentions are right and you'll get that which you desire. So it's a really big thing. Hopefully my new book will explain it really well, but it's really, really important to really realize this. And when you do, once you start to recognize that, or at least just play with it like it's true, just treat it like it's true and see how it fits for a little while. Instead of being attached to the idea that you can make change happen by sprinkling some salt on your altar and saying bibbity bobbity boo and spinning around 3 times in a circle, because that's bullshit. That doesn't work. That's nonsense. That's psychobabble. That's psychiatry. That's symbolism. That's not magic.
It would be so easy if it did, though. Like it'd be like, it's so great that just anything can do it, and it's our intuition and our intent that is most important overall. Like, and we already have those tools, but oh man, sometimes I would just love to go to Home Depot and get the magic stick. That's gonna fucking fix my bullshit.
Well, let me ask you a question, Fleshy. As a nerd, you're gonna probably get this right off the bat. When I take my controller and I'm playing a video game and I push the stick this way, okay? Mm-hmm. By pushing the stick this way, did I cause my character to turn? What actually caused my character to turn? Was pushing the stick what caused it to turn?
I mean, you said this from, you're a nerd, so like, no, it's fucking reading inputs and then traveling to the computer and fucking like the fucking game's reading the data. Like, oh, this number is now a 1. We will go that way.
Very true. So, in much the same way, doing a ritual, okay, you're not actually causing anything to happen. Now, here's the thing.
Filling out the Excel spreadsheets for the universe to
You're
read.
basically filling, yeah, kind of. Well, no, now let's take it a step deeper. We just agreed that by flicking this to the side, I didn't make the character do anything. It's an input, and the computer read that and it decided to turn the character, right? So my doing this doesn't cause the character to turn. The computer technically does it. Okay, good. What caused me to do that in the first place? Why did I do that? Wasn't it in response to something the computer was doing? Yes or no?
Oh, both.
I mean, in a normal situation,
like in a true non-dual sense, both. You know, I could take the argument of that is your true will acting upon the flesh of your finger to manipulate the silicone into doing exactly what your true will is. But on the other hand, no, the fucking computer is fucking giving you the flashy, and you want it to do something, so you react in a way which is mutually beneficial to the experience.
So now let's put this together with ritual and magic. Let's step back. Let's reassess this thing first. Let's review it one time. You're playing a video game. An enemy is coming at you. You know that if you push left on the stick, you'll dodge them, and then you can do whatever. So you do that, and you go, look how much control I have over this video game. I pushed left, and I dodged it. But really, the game made you push left, didn't it? Because you wanted to not get hit, so you pushed left. So you think you're in control of the game, but the game's kind of controlling you too. There's a synchronicity. There's a synchronicity going on there. There's a symbiosis going on. So when you're doing a ritual, let's extrapolate that same story into ritual. Why did you light the candle? Is it because you want the universe to go left, and so you light the candle? Oh, then the next layer is, well, the candle doesn't make the universe go left. The candle's an input. Ah, okay, the candle's an input. Good. So you light the candle, and the universe goes, he lit the candle. I guess we'll agree, and we'll go left. We'll do that. Why did you light the fucking candle? Because the universe presented you with this situation in which you felt the need to light the candle. So if you realize this wild interconnected nature, from a non-dual perspective, you suddenly realize that nothing you're doing is a choice that you have. Nothing that you're doing is you exerting power or authority over anything. Everything that happens from Big Bang to eventual, heat death of the universe, and all the times that happens and all the multiverses that happens, all of those things are not just predetermined. That's the wrong understanding, because people go, but what about free will? Your free will is what made it that way.
Your free will was predetermined.
Your free will was predetermined to be free. It's a chicken and egg thing that goes forever. But that's where when you hit a paradox in metaphysics, the reason it's a paradox for you is because you haven't embraced the paradox fully. You think of it as it's got to be just one or the other. You've got to transcend your paradox. Paradox is when you get a moment and a chance for you. Every paradox in metaphysics is a chance for you to have the most amazing breakthrough. When you realize that there is no paradox, the paradox is the point. You're only at a point of paradox because you see it from this limited frame of reference. When you expand your consciousness, there's no paradox anymore. It makes total sense. So you're not doing rituals to cause change any more than the universe is doing what it does to cause you to do anything. This is a mutual arising. That's what they call it in Zen Buddhism. It's mutually arising. They go together like black and white on a page. You don't have a white page without a black dot on it. You can say that because you can compare the page to the universe around you that isn't white. But if the whole universe was just a sheet of white paper and no black dots, you wouldn't have any concept of what a white sheet of paper was. So it must have a black dot to get the white paper. As soon as you have a black dot, they mutually arise. The black dot is caused by the white paper, and the white paper is caused by the black dot. The same thing applies to everything else you see. It mutually arises in a way that feels, from the limited perspective of your egoistic little self, like there's causation going on. But the thing is, there is no causation. Everything just happened already. It's already there as a static. I mean, I don't want to get too much into the science of it, but I will for a moment. Hyperdimensional block universe, or multiverse, is what I call it, which is literally all time and space, all multiverses already exist as they are from start to finish. There is no such thing as time. There is no such, in other words, time flow. The flow of time is the illusion. Time is just another direction in the hyperdimensional multiverse. It's all there, and consciousness is reading that like a book and dreaming the reality that we experience, and it can go whatever path it wants through that big fractal, seeing whatever reality it wants to see. And your ego pretends it's got control over it, like egos like to do, but egos have no control, because the ego is your imagined character that you're playing in this. When you read Hamlet, if you read it from the right state of mind, maybe hit a really big bong rip or something, you really read Hamlet from the right state of mind, you might forget that you're whoever you think you are, and you might for a minute think you're Hamlet. Like if you really, holy shit, man.
Oh yeah.
I think I am Hamlet. You might read Hamlet from a position of I'm Hamlet, and you can get lost in the character of Hamlet. Do you have any choice of what happens? No. What if you wrote Hamlet? Did you have any choice then? It's like, this is, so think of it this way. Imagine that God is a book that's like the greatest choose your own adventure you can imagine. It's a book of infinite size, but it's a choose your own adventure. And at any moment, consciousness can choose any outcome it wants to any given situation. So it's reading this book, this choose your own adventure, and it gets lost in this book. But guess what? It is the book. So the reader and the book are one. It's the same being. It's a book reading itself, more or less. And so it's going page by page, line by line, experiencing itself in a way that makes it feel like it has choices. But there's no choices. The choices are an illusion. Free will has no choice. You have no choice in the matter of free will. Free will just is a flow. It's the Tao. You're just whoop, and you have no choice. The minute you think you have a choice is actually the moment you're in opposition to the Tao. That's when you're actually not exhibiting free will. When you say, I don't mean like because you don't have proper information, you don't know, like, is that way the crocodile and that way the $1 million? I'm talking about like, shit. Like right now, I'm feeling like what word to choose. Well, I'm not actually flowing. I'm actually in a state of egoism in that moment. It's only when I'm flowing effortlessly, without any worries, without any concerns, just doing what comes naturally, not reactionary, like I better duck out of the way of everything. I mean, I'm in the zone. I'm in that perfect state of flow where I am not reacting. I am responding to this thing in such a way that it's a living response. There's no choice. I don't have a choice. I'm doing my will in this moment, right? Do you see what I'm saying? You don't have a choice.
Yeah, you don't choose when you're on a good run exactly where to put each foot.
Yes.
It just goes. Like it just finds the place that it's meant to be. Like you, on some level, maybe you could say you're choosing it, but are you really? Are you really, really, really?
Yeah. And this goes back to, this is why I bring up that thing about science can tell which direction you're going to go if given two choices. Sometimes like 10 seconds before you actually make your decision. Like your subconscious mind makes up its mind well before you're aware of it. And by the time you're aware of it, really the only role you have left is to veto it if there's an emergency pops up. So you're like, if like, this is why you get startled and surprised, right? You'll be going down a corridor, mind your own business. You're in the zone, you're in the flow. And then a guy in a gorilla costume pops out and goes, booga, booga, booga. And you weren't prepared for that eventuality.
Get the basketballs.
Yeah. So you weren't prepared for that eventuality. And so your analytical mind is like, burp, alert, alert, alert. And your subconscious has to catch up and make a decision. And that little interval of time is not insignificant. And that's when you have the anxiety attack, because your body's like, better pump the endorphins. We don't, I mean, the adrenaline, we don't know if that's a real, gorilla, or is that just our best friend Ralph trying to scare us? So that's kind of like, you have to realize that every moment of your life, even when you're feeling like you're not in the flow, you're actually in the flow. It's your ego that makes you feel like you're not. You're always in the flow. You're always experiencing, and Astarte, like, I just looked down and it just popped up, massive bliss. I don't know what she's responding to, but that's exactly what I was aiming for. The divine is always experiencing perfect bliss all the time, and it's only ego that clouds that and makes you feel like you're not. I don't care if your leg just got cut off and you're feeling all the pain. The divine is like, holy shit, that's intense. That's like 5 gum. Woo, that's cool as fuck. But you as an ego are like, fuck, how am I going to walk now? Oh, that actually hurts. And pain, I don't like pain. That means something bad. The ego is what clouds the blissful experience. I don't claim to be at such a level that I can experience the bliss from that leg cutting off. But you get that. There's monks who torch themselves. They put themselves on fire, and they're just like, the whole time.
5 gum is just a demiurge trying to fucking distract us from reaching the divine. Just observe the pleasures of the flesh, this tingly mint sensation.
Yeah. Now jump into the wood chipper. What?
Oh,
Feet first.
Fuck. Oh, Jesus. No more Tucker and Dale. We don't want that. We don't want any more college kids' blood on our hands.
That was such a great coming back to doing Hangout Nights movie to choose. That was really good. All right, so I'm seeing that somebody else must have just gone live because we just dropped about 10 people. So I think we're gonna call it tonight a little bit early. I think we're gonna go. I'm actually gonna be jumping into Conan Exiles pretty soon for those of you playing with us. I don't know, Fleshy, if you're gonna tonight or not, but if you do, I'd love to see you.
Maybe not tonight, but we'll see. And yeah, for those of you who don't know, we have we've been very bad with the Hangout Nights on the Discord. Despite enjoying them, sometimes it's just we got to do all this planning and but we did watch Tucker and Dale recently, and that was a whole lot of fun. So if you got something you want to watch with a bunch of chuckle fucks, go ahead and you could find the Discord down below. Suggest something to us. We're looking for the next thing to watch, and right now, you and I, Mobius is there. Vlad is also there. as well as
I know him
Spencer.
as Icy. Yeah, Spencer is there. Yeah, I think that's it, right?
I think,
Camilla might join once or twice, but she would just do it to hang out. She doesn't like to play that much that game.
yeah,
She does like it. But...
we've got a collection of people, but we've got a Conan server going right now. So
Yeah.
if you want to jump in and fucking fucking be gorilla men with us, then that's also something we're doing right now, and we'd love to have you.
Yeah, and I got full genitals turned on, so you can full nudity. So you can have a
the moment
micro.
of hesitation. That was me being like, "Oh, right, we're on YouTube, we're on a live stream. I better not fucking mention the full fucking donger."
Yeah, you can have a giant chub, or you can have a little tiny like whatever,
Hey,
or you can
Team
have like
Angry Inch.
torpedo tits, whatever you want. So yeah. Yeah, Mobius will be there pretty soon. I think I'm going to play for a little bit. I got to see. I'm intending to, but I'm going to get off of here, and then I think I'm going to redo the consecration ritual. I think that I was too distracted by the video taking needs, and I'm just going to do it, not give a shit about cameras, because I think that, especially for consecration, that really should be a sacred moment. So I think that's my higher self saying, you cheapened it, do it again.
Hey, Wyatt, if you want to, and I'm making jokes, I'm not trying to backhand you right now. If you want a good grift buddy, that's the thing you got to do. You just got to show up to where Thorne lives and just videotape him at all times when he's in the middle of ritual. Like, don't fucking write shit. This is just a way for him to not be distracted. Like, he won't even know you're there. He'll just see the videos go live of like Thorne's ritual captured on camera. You don't got to worry about editing. You don't got to do nothing, buddy. I'm helping you here.
Wyatt 18 plus pretty much on anything unless announced ahead of time. So it wasn't just me. There was a couple people asking for it. So 18 plus. So we'll see in 4 years, man, when it comes to the hangout stuff. It's just, even if everybody loved you, it's a thing. Adults, they can't let their hair down when there's kids in the room. It's just a thing, dude. No offense, man. It's don't think we're being ageist, but you'll understand when you're a little older too, I think.
Oh, that sounds like the most ageist thing. And
that's why I said it.
Yeah.
That's why I said it with a smile.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. I fucking get it. It sucks, but yeah, there's reasons.
There's reasons, and what do you want me to do? I mean, should I just be like, oh no, deal with it as a kid? Especially since I feel it, like my wife said, like, we already raised an 18-year-old, we're done, like, and no offense, dude, you're a really cool kid, but, like, we're playing like dong hanging out Conan games, and even if I'm cool with it,
yeah,
there's other people there that might not be. So
yeah, I was absolutely playing those games at that age, but it's also very different for, being like the head of a community and shit like that, being like, yes, come play Donger Out game.
Yeah,
like
right?
that's that's a different type of, no.
Yep, and plus there's liabilities involved too. Bunch of, I'm not even that opposed to you playing on the server necessarily. It's the hanging out part with it. It's just the thing, dude. Yeah, I shouldn't have to explain it. 18 plus only. Thanks, buddy. I do appreciate you like hanging out though, but that's not it. So even Astarte, because I know Astarte in it, like they talk, and I made a dungeon joke, and then I thought, oh crap, Wyatt is here, but he already knows about that. So it's stuff like that. Like, it's stuff like that. Like, even if people think it's cool, there's still, you'll understand someday, dude. I know you will. So.
Oh no, I am corrupting the younglings. Best go back to talks of non-duality and head fuckery.
And Wyatt said it pretty well. It says, oh well, shit, let me know if I'm ever allowed to join though. Ooh. I'm fine with everybody getting comfortable, just don't come on to me or anything. Now see, even just saying that, like, I can't even respond to that for liability purposes, dude. Like we're broaching some topics here that's just not comfortable.
Yeah, like I see a glow just inspecting us, just FBI. Right? No.
Like, why did my camera just flicker? What the heck?
Oh, but something Wyatt did say earlier. He was complimenting you. He said that you say that you run out of things to discuss, but here you are fucking dropping some new shit on him. But I will tell you what, don't worry, the old shit will always be there, and I am now the great holder of the green lighter.
I still have it, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, it died for you because I took up the mantle.
I passed the torch. Here you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, I should just put this right in the lighter. Boom,
Oh, you should not do that.
I should. I'll do it outside where it's safe, like I used to do every camping trip. All right, guys. So I think we're going to take off a little early tonight. I've seen the numbers drop like a stone, because usually right around midnight it goes from like 50 or 40 to like 20 or 30 like within minutes. So people go to bed. Yeah, people are going to sleep. So guys, I want to thank you all for showing up tonight. For those of you who are still here and are interested, very soon, probably this week, I will be announcing new ritual services again. Many of my old stipulations still apply. I'm going to be selective about it. My energy is my energy. I don't want people contacting me for bring me back my ex, or I need a job and only you can save my house. You know, that's not how this works. I am not a miracle worker. I am not a wish granter. This is meant to be a spiritual thing. It is meant to align you with your thing. That doesn't mean you won't get those miracles. It just means I have no control over it that way. That's not what this is for. DH Thorne is just a facilitator. That's all I'm there for. I'll do the ritual, but it's you that has to be asking for the right thing.
And you know what? I might drop a little hint for all of you who might want that is, you know, recontextualize it in your own head rather than how do I do magic to get money? It's like, what's the spell that will get me money? I must approach Thorne about this. Rather, how do I align myself? How do I overcome the need for money? How do I achieve such power that money is no longer a thing? How does money become a non-object?
Why do you want money? That's the question I'd ask you. Why do you want money? Let's pare it down to the real core psychological reason that you want money. Why? People are going to say, well, I want to be able to buy stuff. Okay, why do you want to buy stuff? Let's keep going. Let's go deeper and deeper. You'll eventually find that, not without exception, but with few exceptions, most people's reason for wanting money is to be free of needing money. It's to reach a point where you're not trapped by the need of money.
Is money the video game and my job is the fucking controller?
So anyway, guys, I will be doing... So rituals will be coming back soon, and I'm going to have a couple of, you know, preordained rites, which I prefer to do simply because they're like, I know what they're for and they're a little bit better. But it will be, you know, I'll still be screening people for things. I'm not here to like grant wishes. I'm going to be turning down at least, I'm going to say 70-80% of the people like I always do, but I will be opening them back up to bigger stuff. So especially with the ritual chamber to do them in, gives me a reason to play in it and do extra work in it. So I'll be doing that soon. So look for that. That'll be a video announcement and an update to my website. We'll have all of that on it. So be looking for that. And you know, if you're interested, even if just because you want to see a ritual done by Thorne, you know, I'll have different price ranges for different things. You know, some will be more reasonable than others. You know, usually the cheapest I go is like $50-$75. Hey, inflation's a thing. So, you know, don't be mad at me. You know, where's my Biden sticker? That's why I did that. If you don't like the things go up, don't blame me. I'm only going up so I can eat, and I got to eat a lot. I'm a big boy. So
hey, big man.
So, all right, guys. Other than that, you can, oh, I saw a finger go up. I'm supposed to wait. There's something she wants to, I'm not sure what it is. We'll see. I'm hearing crinklings. I think there's something she wants. Oh, here we go. Ooh. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to use this on the website. I'm going to be, hold on a little bit.
Oh, God.
So if you're wondering why the prices went up, yeah, that's that. Yeah.
Well, now you know it's the end of the stream because the political shit just.
So yeah, but yeah, guys, no, for real though, that will be coming out. And if you want to support me otherwise, like, share, and subscribe this video. You'll notice that I don't front load a bunch of ads on this stuff all the time, unless I got a new product to sell. Then forgive me, I'm just trying to pay the bills, man. So I'm just like you. I just do this for a portion of my living, and that's the way I enjoy it. So don't judge unless you walked a mile in these shoes, and they're big and smelly shoes. So, you know, I don't blame you for not wanting to.
Even after you walk in them, you're going to be stuck with that stink for the rest of your life.
At least a few weeks. Yeah, at least a few weeks. So, all right, guys. Until next time, this is DH Thorne signing off.
And
if you guys have any questions or whatever, join our Discord. You can hit me up there. I see a lot of new people or lurkers. Join our Discord if you use Discord. And just, you know, mind the rules. We're not really strict in there. We just demand respect. A couple little basics. Nothing serious. We just want to make sure people are cool. Other than that, though, yeah. I guess that's it for tonight.
Mind the motherfucking shadows.
Yeah. Fuck off, everybody. Fuck you. Oh, man.
Good night, fuckers.
Good night, fuckers.